Welcome to the road to the NHC, where we help you sharpen your handicapping skills and guide you towards securing a spot at the National Horse Players Championship in Las Vegas, Nevada. That comes next March 2025. Whether you're a seasoned player or just getting started, we've got your strategies and insights to elevate your game. And joining me, of course, none other than 2022 National Horse Players Championship, David Harrison. David, are you ready to get going? And I know you've already got your two. You've qualified already for two. I've only got one, so I still need some help.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to get rolling, my friend. How are you? TGIFF to everybody out there. And I hope your week has been going well. And I know the boys are in Kentucky, and it's going to be a beautiful weather weekend. And I'm sure they're going to be killing it down there. And so, yeah, let's get it rolling. We'll try to get you that second seat. And I'm trying to climb up that Toro leaderboard. Actually, I'm in 9th right now. So, yeah, let's get it rolling. We pick a couple winners, hopefully, and maybe get a couple people qualified.
Well,
or help give them ideas.
So we're going to be covering the feeders. So if you're interested, and then we'll cover the qualifiers afterwards. But hopefully, for $18, you can, instead of spending $75 on your entry into the qualifier, for $18, if you're like in the top 35, 40, depending on how many people are in the tournament, in the feeder tournament, you can get an entry for $18 instead of 75. And then if you finish in the top 2, then you get to the NHC in March in Nevada, in Las Vegas. And let me tell you, it is a hoot. If you've never been, even if you don't make it to the NHC, you should just go. It should be on your bucket list. It's really so much fun. The energy in the room is incredible. But if you can get there, it's great. Right now, you had that code. There's a special promo code for the NTRA. For $25, you can be a member of the tour all the way through, I think, through February this year. Do you remember what that promo code was, David? Was it?
I believe, to the best of my recollection, Scotty, it's NHC 25. Okay. NHC 25. You want me to check it?
I think you're right. I think that's what it is. Yeah, if you've got it there, that would be great.
Yeah, I've got the NTRA website up already. So let me just put NHC. Okay, to join. Why join? All right, here we go. Yes, I will have the code. I don't see the code anymore. Was that a special thing?
I doubt they took that off because it's not for a full year.
Oh, sorry. It's not NHC 25. It's TOR 25. TOUR TOR 25.
Hey, you know what? I ask that every week, and I never write it down. I'm writing that down right now. Tour.
I'm going to make a mental note of that and write it here on my whiteboard here, so I don't forget about it. So
okay, so if you want, so basically, what this show, we started this show, and it's growing and it's been popular, and we've had 4 or 5 people qualify for the NHC, which is a really big deal, and we're really proud of it, and it's really a lot of fun, and we have a good time doing the show, and it seems to be resonating with people, David, and so it's what we essentially do is handicap the feeder races first, and we're able to watch Keeneland. Thank you, Jim Goodman. We're able to show you the live streaming of the races. Of course, Belmont BAQ, which is actually Aqueduct. We don't have the live streaming for that, but we'll turn it up so you can hear it. And we'll go through those 6 races. It all is done in about an hour and 15, 20 minutes for the feeder. And then we head up and we start working on the qualifying races. So we've got about a 4-hour show for you today. And we have a lot of fun doing it. So hopefully you'll join in with us, contribute in the chat room. It makes the show so much better when you guys are in the chat with us. So we're rooting for you. We'll answer your questions. Sometimes races are tough. Sometimes we have a strong opinion. And so we're going to get going here on the feeder. By the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, and I want to promote Keeneland as much as possible. David, it's really neat to see what's going on with Keeneland right now. You know, Jim Goodman has really been leading the way with a lot of these major tracks with opening the door to streaming and promotion through our shows and even other shows for that matter, which has been great. They're actually having the highest handle for this meet that they've ever had. And I love to see it.
Yeah, and he does such a great job, and he's so transparent with everything. And you might as well make it available to as many platforms as possible, because it just creates a more interest in the product. So he gets it, right? Some tracks don't go out of their way, and they don't avail all their resources to people who are trying to grow the sport. So kudos to Jim. He does a great job down there. And Keeneland is one of my favorite tracks. It's just beautiful down there. Look, you see the cards that they have rolling the next couple of days. It's incredible. It's like
really is.
Yeah. So
it really is. And the thing is like it's these things that we're talking about. They're not minimal. They're important. And because so much of this game has been like the men's club. It's like if you're not in that club, and it just has to stop. Like it just has to stop. And it's enough. Like it's just not cool anymore. Like you need to open this up and share. You can't tell us where we want to go watch the races. You can, but it's not. Hopefully the bettor is going to go, no, it's not okay. And so I'm not going to mention tracks, of course, but I can tell you one in particular that's my favorite track of all time. I don't think I made 2 bets on that track, and I didn't play in any of their tournaments. I just, they didn't allow us the feed. And again, I'm not going to take this negative, but I think it's important. And I hope a lot of people are going to wake up and go, hey, if you open this up, especially to new people, more people are going to talk about it. And I think the new way of going, and we started this 5 years ago, but the new way of going is people don't necessarily want to watch a cable program and just, hey, I like this. These are my pick 4 bets. These are my pick 5 bets. They want to be involved. They want to be in the chat. They want to offer up their opinion. This is where this is going. And hopefully some of the bigger tracks, hopefully they'll buy into this and go, okay, you know what? We need to join in on this. That's what I'm hoping for anyways.
Yeah, and that's the trend. It's people. It's interactive is the future, or is the now. Actually, you want to be interactive. We want the show is better when more people are listening in and giving opinions and chatting, and that's what they're missing. I mean, it's basically you get a bunch of shows on these networks that they're dictating to you all their opinions, but there's no room for any feedback or or interactivity, and I think that's really what the key to these shows are that we're doing.
It is, and it's nice to see not just EquinEdge, but I think the advantage that we have, anyways, is that we have a platform where you can handicap races pretty quickly, and so I think that visually, it's how do you say? It's just a lot easier to be able to handicap. When I was working for a network doing some broadcasting. Once I had EquinEdge, I could handicap because we would go from race to race to race, track to track to track. And it was very difficult. You had to really do your pre-work. You had to print stuff out. And then with EquinEdge, the information was so right there that it was quicker, right? And so there's no delay. Because what happens when you're delayed as a broadcaster, there's too many ahs, because you're trying to think and process. With EquinEdge, you don't have to, it's much easier to process. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And it's so user-friendly. When you first introduced me to the product shortly thereafter the Eclipse Awards, I said, yeah, I'll take a look at it and I'll give you my opinion. And I looked at it. And as Scotty knows, I have a little reluctance with these new products. And I started really catching on to it because of everything else I've tried in the past. This, to me, is more user-friendly. And just got a great team behind the product, Scotty and his staff. Yeah. They were so welcoming to me, and the coaching classes are just invaluable. Not too many platforms have that. You still do coaching classes every week, right? So, so we're out there and trying to get new people subscribed, and I love it now. I mean, it's going to getting to the point. Hopefully, by next, maybe NHC, you'll only see me with my my laptop and no DRF at all. Even though they'll give it to you for free there, so maybe I'll take a peek. But I'm getting more and more comfortable with it every day. And that's the first thing I pull up in the morning, and I'm looking, okay, let's see who's got the big EE metric pace advantage today, because I'm usually a speed player. So yeah, it's a good product, and it's really changed my handicapping. I can handicap more races now than I could do in the past. Right.
Yeah, so I really had no plans of like promoting EE. I really didn't. But I will say this, since you brought up the pace number, and anybody that knows, our pace number is dominant in horse racing. There is nothing even remotely close. And I think the EquinEdge users understand that. And it's just dominant. And then the first call of the race simulator, that's even more accurate than the pace number. It's sick. And I think the race simulator has just been a really big hit. And I'll tell you another thing, David, that you might not have known. 3 years ago, we had about 10 people using EquinEdge at the NHC. And then 2 years ago, it was about 60 people. And we counted this past year, almost 260 people using EquinEdge as their primary tool at the NHC. I mean, I think when some of the best handicappers in the country are using that, and that's, you know, showing up like that for us anyways, that was really big momentum. It's really neat to see that a lot of the top players are using EquinEdge.
And that's an incredible number, because what'd you say, 260?
Yeah, about 260.
That's about a third. That's about a third of the players, right?
Room.
Third of the contestants. That's fantastic for a newer product.
Yeah.
And yeah. So it's really helped me. Like I said, it helped me with my speed. I can just handicap more races quicker. So it's great.
All right. Hey, good morning, Oscar. Buenos dias, and Rob and In and Rodney. What's going on? Al, how are you?
Hello, Al. Rodney.
And it's fun. You know, I really do enjoy this show with you. I really do. Like, I look forward to it. And that's not always the case. And so, but it's really become a fun show. And then partly, obviously, is you, David. You just, you know, we talked about this. You're just, we love you so much. But also the people on the show, they seem to be really enjoying this particular show and this format. And a lot of it is when we're trying to do shows and figure them out, the format, you know, and then the people, of course, make a difference. Like the guys on the stretch run, they are doing such an amazing job. The following that the stretch run has now on Saturdays has just been incredible. So you might want to tune into that. And also we are live over at Keeneland tomorrow. Justin and Oldie are live. I believe Chris is showing up. I think so. I know he hadn't. Yeah. Oh, I think he is. I think he was running late because, you know, he's in Tampa for the Hurricane. They had some big wins, but I think they're unscathed. I think they're okay.
Yeah, he's fine, and he's flying out today. They delayed his flight, or else he would have been there already, basically.
So you're not gonna want to miss that. They're actually in the green room. Another shout out to Jim Goodman. Like, we've got media passes. I mean, EquinEdge has come a long way. It's pretty cool to see what's going on, and that a track like Keeneland is recognizing that. And mostly they're recognizing the show too, right? So if it wasn't for the EquinEdge users and community and these shows and the chat and all that, this wouldn't be happening. So you guys make a really big difference in this. So big shout out to everybody. I know a lot of you watching don't always chime in the chat, but we love when you do. So, all right, with that all being said, let's start with the feeders. It's race number 1, 2, and 3 at Keeneland, and 1, 2, and 3 at Aqueduct, right?
Yeah, we got it. So we got big A, first race, 6.5 furlongs, maiden 20,000 claimer for maiden fillies and mares, 3 and up. And now we have a 7-horse field, and you know, when you're dealing with a 20,000 maiden claimer, you're going to see a couple. You're going to see two things. You're going to see a number of horses dropping down considerably from maiden special weight, and you're going to see some horses that are in that condition, who've been in that condition a while, may have been running okay, just haven't broken their maiden. There's a couple of contenders here I narrowed it down to. We've got number 3, Millie Jean is going to be the prohibitive favorite, I would assume, and right now 8-5 morning. This is one of the contenders. This horse has been racing at Gulfstream, but we're off of a long layoff. So I thought this horse was a contender, but 8-5 morning, I kept looking around for possibly another horse, because, you know, I don't really love to take favorites if I can avoid it, you know, unless they're a no-brainer. The other horses that interested me here were the one, this Bella Qua, for Charlie Baker. This horse is dropping from, doesn't really have any form at all, hasn't really lifted a hoof, but is dropping down from maiden special weight to a maiden 50 and now to a maiden 20. Now that's bottom of the barrel, so that's going to make that horse a contender. The two, that's the Fax Jack, had raced a maiden 40, and this is now the third race at maiden 20. And really hasn't shown much form. So you're going to have a lot of horses in here who haven't shown much. The 5 Bewildered is probably the horse that shows the most early foot. and dropping down from a maiden special to a maiden 20. So those were the primary contenders. The other ones looked like rank outsiders. So between the 1, 2, 3, 5, I tried to narrow it down a little further than that, and decided that I'm going to try to beat the favorite here, Millie Jean. The layoffs always concern me with these, especially these maiden droppers. So if you look at Millie Jean, trained by George Weaver, and George is first race back from a layoff, 22%. So now that makes me a little skeptical of maybe I'm throwing out the wrong horse, but I'm going to let that horse beat me at 8-5. The horse that bewildered again is off another little bit of a layoff for Bruce Levine. That horse is definitely a contender. But the horse I'm going to try to focus on here and move forward in the feeder is the Juan Belacroix for Charlie Baker. I've been waiting for Charlie Baker's barn to heat up for, it just seems like months, because I know how well they do and what a good trainer he is. And he's starting to heat up. He's had a couple winners here and there, and I think it's coming to fruition. This horse had first 2 starts were on the turf, and 6 furlongs and stretched out to a mile. But you got to throw those races out when you're handicapping at 20,000 on the dirt. They mean nothing to me. Then the horse was again entered for 5.5 on the turf. It was scratched off the turf, moved to the dirt, didn't really lift the hoof. Only 5.5 furlongs. With the drop down here, this is a huge drop down in class for this one horse. And Katie Davis picks up the mount. Katie's been a guest on our show. We love Katie. So Scotty, I'm going to try to beat the 3 here with Katie Davis's horse Belacroix, just based on the massive drop down and more recency. This horse last race was in July, and I'm concerned about the Millie Jean being of such a long layoff since November 23. So that's where I landed here.
So our friend Katie Davis is we're always rooting for her. I think my only concern with the one personally is she just is a really poor breaker. I think the race unfortunately is between the 3 or 5. Bewildered is the top pace, top win percentage, top SOR, top GSR, and EE top pick. So and in that context, these horses win 37% of the time for a negative 12% ROI, in the money 73%. The reason I think I'll go with the 5 horse over the 3 is because the 5 is going to be on the outside of the 3. Now the 3 is being sent, and the 3 is a good breaker. I actually I'm good. It's going to be a game time decision right now for me, because the 5 is on the outside, seems to need the lead for her best, and the 3 is fast. You know, Manny Franco is going to probably send this horse hard, and probably going to be tough to catch this horse. This could set it up for the 1 horse if the 1 has a decent break under Katie. I think you know what? I'm gonna go with the 5. I'm gonna go, or the 3, excuse me. I'm gonna go with the 3 to go gate to wire.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 3.
So you're on the 3, Millie Jean. So you don't have any reservations about a possible speed duel between the 3 and the 5?
No, I do. I do for sure. But based on the race simulator, even though the 5 has a higher pace number, it does look and the race simulator is more accurate for the first call, and that says something. I mean, there's nothing I rely on more than the first call. There's 4 algorithms to our race simulator. That first algorithm is so deadly accurate; it's just incredible. And I think anybody that uses EquinEdge knows that. And so, I think that I love. First of all, I'm a huge fan of Franco. I say this every show. How the hell does that guy only win 12% of his races? It's just like every time we turn around, the guy's winning.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like him and Dylan Davis, same thing. I don't get it.
Well, you know what it is, Scotty, during this time of year, I know the Ortiz brothers are in Keeneland, but you know, you've got the Ortiz brothers in town, and they're going to take a majority of those mounts. So Manny has won the winter meet at Aqueduct at least once, maybe twice. And he's a great jockey. But if you look at the jockey colony, I mean, he just comes off Saratoga. That's the most competitive jockey colony in the world.
It is
crazy.
It is.
So,
one of my considerations is, and you and I both know that speed is a very dangerous thing, especially as it applies to maidens. And this horse breaks good. Look at first, second, third, first. Millie Jean does. She does. So I got to go with her. Bewildered's burned some, burned money last time out, 21%. I don't like the fact that this horse is 21%. And I'll be against better horses, but she just, to me, looks like a horse that needs the lead. And I think that Franco knows that, and he's going. And Rivera's a 10% jockey. I think that, and look, the other thing that's really interesting, when I look at the 3-horse Millie Jean, she doesn't look 4-5 to me at all, but yet she's 4-5 on the E morning line. So I think there's something to be said for that. When we talk about the metrics, the win percentage, all of them, they're not looking at pace. They're just going, if everything is perfect, then this is what's going to happen. So I think that Millie Jean has a huge advantage.
Okay, so I'm locking you in, Scotty, with the 3
Yes,
Millie Jean, and I'm on the 1. I believe you pronounce that Belacqua. If anybody,
Belacqua. Yep,
it sounds good to me. It sounds good. That's most of my French that I know. Belacqua. Okay, so I'm on the 1
race, and I'll be right back.
Okay, we'll go to the 2. Yep. All right, so we got the second race at the Big A, 6 furlongs on the outer turf, an allowance that a race, 92,000 allowance. For fillies and mares again, 3 and up. Never won other than 20,000 than a maiden claimer, a starter, or a state bred. Okay, this race is, I struggled. This race is much more competitive than race 1, in my opinion. Let me just see. I think there was a late scratch here.
The 10 horse was scratched.
The 10. Yeah, the 10 was a main MTO. So, yeah, this race. I mean, if you said, Dave, narrow this down for me in my, I want to play a pick 5, narrow it down to like 2 or 3 contenders. Yeah. I'm like, all right, well, this could be an old race, but I'm reluctant to ever do that in my horizontals. So with that being said, I mean, I'm looking at, so when I approach a race that I'm going to have difficulty off the bat, due to the competitive nature, I pull up the EquinEdge and I'm like, okay, let me see how the pace scenario develops here, right? Yeah. Does anybody have like a huge advantage in pace? Because it's only a 6 furlong sprint. And many times a lot of these horses who win these races get off out of the gate and just roll, right? And we've seen a couple of turf winners on these courses at pretty decent prices get out of the gate where the other speed doesn't. So just having speed at 6 furlongs is very, very important in these races. With that being said, we've got my Ms. Big Bucks has a somewhat of a pace advantage over the 8. And so then I'm looking, okay, let's see. The other pace is Lisa's Vision. And so there's not a ton of speed in this race, right? Because normally you'll have them bunched up a little bit more at the top on these speed numbers. But the horse that I think can stay close, I mean, the horses that I was looking at, it was basically the 3, My Shady Lady, the 4, Ms. Big Bucks. I'm not sure what to do with the 5, Cold Hard Stare for Bill Mott shipping in from overseas. I mean, this, who knows how this horse is going to run. It's not a horse that I would normally play. So to me, that's a toss. The 6 is dropping way down in class, but I'm not sure the distance is good for the 6. So I kind of narrowed it down to these 4 contenders, basically, even though my boy Ricardo Santana's on the 2. So 2, 3, 4, 7, 9. But, that's not narrowing it down enough for me. So I started looking at each one. And the horse that does really intrigue me the most out of those contenders was the 7, Ray Handel's horse, La Salvadorina. That sound right?
Yep, it does.
Then I look at the breeding, and this horse, she's out of Oscar Performance, which is out of Kitten's Joy. Oscar Performance is has become one of my favorite sires for turf starters. I can't begin to tell you how many Oscar Performance horses I've scored on first-time turf. All right, who prepped on dirt, first-time turf, and decent prices. This horse has every start that she's made, she's been competitive. She had a second after a bump start in her first. She had another second in her second start as the favorite, then stretched out to a mile and the 16th with a terrible post, the 12th post. And she stalked the pace and just kind of packed it in. Maybe she doesn't want to go a mile and the 16th. Last time out, she's on a good turf course in Saratoga, 5.5, and she started off the race stalking in 5th and 6th, but not too far off the pace, and then she just cleared it off pretty easy. Blinkers on that time. Now she's got blinkers second time. She should be closer to the pace. My only reservation is that she just broke her maiden and she's moving into another condition. But I think she may be good enough here, and she seems to fire every race. And if you throw out that last where she had the outside post going 2 turns, which she probably didn't want to do, Dylan Davis stays. I don't see why I wouldn't use this horse on top. So I'm going to go with the 7 La Salvadorina. And with the thought is the 9 Leslie's Humor is going to be real difficult. She's going to be a handful, and it's a competitive race. I think she'll be right there. And my other horse that I would use out of the speed is Ms. Big Bucks. And I think if you're going using multiple going horizontals, I would narrow it down to the 4, 7, 9 for contest purposes. I am going to use the 7 on top. Ray Handel. For me, number 7, El Salvadorina. I pronounced that 3 times in a row.
You did really good, David.
Usually I screw all those names up. So how'd you see this race, Scotty?
Well, just so you know, there's 39 minutes to the first race, so you have to have all your feeder picks in. So make sure of that. I will tell you this. So here's how I look at the 7 horse. I think you're spot on. I want to look at the trip that we think that the 7 might get, but let's just look at in the first race. The horse was 3% and broke bad going 5.5 furlongs. That was an excellent race. In the next race was on the rail. I have a note here that says this was not a good trip, yet the horse got second. Then 8.5 furlongs against maiden special weights at Saratoga from the 12 hole. It's a nasty place to be. It was only 9% to win and lost by 4.5 lengths. And even in the stretch, probably had too much to do, got used up to get in position. That was an excellent performance. Then they add blinkers. I'm not sure that the blinkers really made the difference here, but the horse, it showed some more speed, ran a good race, won easily last time out. I agree with you. I think this horse is super nice in this context here. I think the 4, I think we see who this horse is. It's just okay. It goes up in win percentage. It's nice. The upside here for sure, 1,000% is with the 7. And Rob, you're bringing up the 1 horse being a first-time turfer. When I look anyways at this, turf is okay, but dirt is even better. And so I don't now, David, for you not picking the 1 horse, that speaks volumes to me because you seem to find these horses that don't necessarily have good GSRs, first time turf, they're going to do well. Was there a reason why you didn't like? I don't personally see this horse in this race, but what are your thoughts on this horse?
Yeah, I saw a very limited turf breeding here, Scotty. This is out of a Gervin, and if you were asking me Gervin first time turf without even looking at a form or looking at EquinEdge, I'm going to say no. I'll pass. Then I look at the dam under over. I'm not familiar with that, the horse. I mean, so, and this horse has been in a maiden 40, a maiden optional maiden 20 claimers on the dirt. To me, this is a dirt horse. So it doesn't take a lot of push for me to find a first time turfer what that's value. But this horse I would, and especially the rail post going 6 in this first turf sprint, there's too many things against this horse. So, and also a layoff. So, this is a total pass for me. So this is an exception.
Yeah, I mean, look at the SORs. They were very low. She won $73,000 in 26 races, or 82,000, excuse me. Most were on the dirt, some were on synthetic. She didn't do much. She never was on the turf. Gervin ran 1 time on the turf. That was not a good experience. 9 races on the dirt for $1.6 million. So there's really no turf breeding here that I can see. So I'm with you on the 7. I actually really like the 7. I would like to look, though. I think the suspected trip's going to be just fine. The 9 is going to end up wide. That's what I think. And the 9's probably the horse that everyone's going to bet. But being wide on this turf course is not a great place to be. And I think the 7's going to get a super nice trip. And I'm interested as a long shot and that's what you should be looking for with these races anyways. But I think the 2-horse, it doesn't really look all that great on paper, but there's something about this 2-horse, especially with the race simulator. This horse might run a better race than normal, but I think the 7-horse is got a big look in here. So I'm agreeing with you. I'm going with the 7.
All right, we're on the same page. And again, we're talking about the 2. I just wanted to mention, since you brought that horse up, this horse is only 1 for 15 on the Belmont turf course, 3 for 31 lifetime. The only reason I looked, it's also been racing in a good company, but and it's got Ricardo Santana, who decided to ride in New York and has been riding lights out, and he's going to be a factor at this. If he stays in New York during the winter, he's going to clean up. He's going to rival the Dylan. He's going to rival Matty Franco and Dylan for to meet leaders. So that's the only reason I looked at that. But all right, we're on the same page.
I'm just saying, as far as a live long shot goes, I think there's a because you could see some of these horses stopping possibly. The 9's wide. The 3-horse, we didn't really talk about this 3-horse, but throughout the last race, that was too tough a competition. The win percentage goes up here, and this horse always tries. So I don't think this is necessarily a horse we could be ignoring as well. The problem for me in this horse, and I know the win percentage goes up, and I know this horse has been facing tougher, I don't like the drop in GSR for the horse personally. But I think the 3 is a very live long shot as well. And again, you don't want to have the favorites in a race like this where the 2 or 3 wins this race. It's going to be painful. So I think strategically, the 3 is not a bad play and the 2 is not a bad play. And the 7-horse, unfortunately, we don't know what this horse is going to go off at. But if this horse was to go off at 5-1, like the morning line says, then the 7's a fantastic play.
Yeah, I think we'll get a little lower than that, but we'll see how it goes. The only other horse I wanted to throw in there, but I think if there could be a pace meltdown, which I don't foresee, or the track is favoring outside closers, which I don't anticipate, would be the 6, Lisa's Vision. This horse will be flying late. It's had 4 finishes, second place finishes at over the Belmont course, but I do think this 6 furlongs is too short of a trip for her. So that's why I decided to key on the 7. So, okay.
All right. We're both agreeing on that. So again, we have 34 minutes. We're both agreeing on the 7, 34 minutes before the race over at Aqueduct. All right. Let's hit to race number 3.
Okay, Scotty, I will tell you why you play the simulator. I spent absolutely too much time on this race. I kept looking at it, and it's only what now that after the scratches, there's only a 6-horse field.
Yeah.
So I mean, I kept going back to this race because I was trying to beat the 5 Vetriano, and I'm like, I don't really want to take this horse, so I kept going back, and I'm like, okay. So I was handicapping it last night, and I'm figuring, oh, maybe I'll wait for it to see if there'll be a key scratch. Well, granted, we got not just 1 key scratch, we got 2 of them. So now it makes my job a lot easier to beat this Vetriano. So let's take a look at the 5 first. I narrowed this down to a few contenders. I believe the 2, 5, 6, and 8 are all contenders, even though now with the scratches, especially the 5 is going to be more of a prohibitive favorite. So Vetriano, the first thing, if you look at Vetriano, he's got a huge class drop here. This horse ran in the Grade 1 Alan Jerkins at Saratoga. All right, you'll see a smile on my face because it's one of my favorite races up at Saratoga. And if you look at the field that this horse competed against, Domestic Product, who is now in the 1 mile Breeders' Cup turf, the 1 mile dirt race, right? Entered at Del Mar. And just look at the other horses in that race. I mean, this Prince of Monaco.
Which horse are you talking about?
The 5 Vetriano, the big drop.
Vetriano, okay.
Yeah. So now that's why this horse is going. It's like, okay, this horse just ran in a Grade 1. But look at it again. I looked at it again. This horse, to me, was totally over its head. I know it's Brad Cox, and I guess the owner's got a little like, hey, we might have a great horse here. This horse finished 8th, had some speed, showed a little speed, but again, facing grade 1 competition, this horse was overmatched. But again, until you try, you don't know that, right?
For sure.
So New York State bred, and this is a New York State bred 6.5 furlong optional claimer. But then I go back, yeah, this horse is going to be prohibitive favorite, but what has it done in the past? It started its career in August of 23 with a 4th place finish at even money, and then came back to Belmont at this meet last year in May and easily broke its maiden at 5-2. Okay, and beat New York State breds. Then moved up a condition to a non-winners of 1 allowance race and just aired. That was a mile race, and I'm looking. This horse was 2-5. And what did this horse actually beat? In my opinion, knowing New York racing so well, I don't think this horse beat anything. So, and this is a 3-year-old now facing older, and this horse is facing some hard hitting, or now a little less hard hitting with the scratches, claimers that are older. So, and again, I think I've mentioned before, and I've mentioned it many times, when I go to EquinEdge, the first thing I look at is the pace metric. And granted, what do we see? We've got a horse who is got at least 12, 13 point advantage over Vetriano. And to me, the only way to beat Vetriano in this race, because this, hey, listen, this horse had run some nice races. Granted, I'll give you that. But I don't think beat much. And with the scratch of Caldo Candy, who was one of the other speeds, and Defusky Island, who would have put some pace pressure into the race, I just think excellent timing has me really, really jacked up here to have the lead and probably wire this field.
David, real quickly, I want to show you.
Sure.
You know, we're testing a new product right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to take you back to, you mentioned that you didn't think that the race on 629 was really that strong.
Yes, right, I looked at the SOR. Go ahead, keep going.
You want to see that? You want to see that race?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll show you that race. There you go. This is that race. Vetriano beat a horse called Russian Realm, who was 28% that day. And here's the past performances for Russian. So you can see this is the race. Got second. That Russian Realm had broken its maiden against State Bred Company, and then after the 629. Followed it up with a 4th place finish in a non-graded stakes race. And then when you look at the 6th horse, you want to see the horse that finished 3rd? No bueno. Look at this.
Yeah, boys code. I know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, so that was an extremely, extremely weak field. I mean, now that being said, Vetriano did it easily, won easily. And you can see also Vetriano had a really big pace advantage. Watch, we can even run this. This is pretty cool. I'm excited about this to be, but you can see that Vetriano, you know, had actually a really big pace advantage, and we'll make this quicker, but we'll go here, and the system had the 7 and the 2 horse pretty much head and head, but the Vetriano won easily and got the lead. But yeah, that's something we're working on right now in the background. So, but it wasn't, you know, it really was not a strong field.
Right. No, yeah, I agree. And, you know, I saw that boys code I was going to mention. I know boys code. This horse is going to be probably a lifetime maiden breaker. Actually, I think boys code went to Finger Lakes a couple times and did break its maiden. But yeah, and also one of the other horses I did look at also was the one Aguilos the Great. This horse for George Weaver has been keeping some good company. And cuts back from 1 1/8 to 1 1/8 to Albany. Obviously, state bred stakes races, the New York Derby at Finger Lakes, lost to Pandagate, who is a decent horse. But I just think maybe this is too short of a race for the one. And with the scratch, like I said, I don't think there's abundance of speed. So I am foaming at the mouth to bet, place a wager on the 2 here. Timing wire to wire, so it'd be 2 over the 5 here for me, Scotty.
So you're thinking the 2 horse can go gate to wire?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And Mike, hello, Mike. I'm sorry, Scotty. Yeah, I did look at the 6 and the 8. I don't like. I think the 6 was actually entered at Keeneland either yesterday or today, and is ops for this spot. definite contender. I think I'd prefer to see a race from this 6-horse. And I think maybe next time out's the time. And Acoustic Avenue off the claim, Mike Maker off the claim. I believe Mike's what, 20%? So yeah, definitely contender, especially when I see Michael Dubb, the owner. You know, these are connections that know what they're doing. So it wouldn't surprise me if the 8 steps up here. So that's a usable horse also. But yeah, I'm taking a shot at a pretty decent price because I think this horse is still going to be overlooked a bit. Excellent timing because of the last place finish the last time out. But stopped and popped. I mean, 7 furlongs. Popped and stopped. I mean, this horse, if you look, second race off a layoff, should be tighter. Good workout on September 15th. If you look at the record over the dirt course, 13 starts. This horse has been in the money 9 times. So I just think this horse gets loose, gets brave, and I can see this horse going wire to wire.
We have to talk about Big Prankster. I mean, this horse is 5-2 on the EE morning line and 12-1 on the odds makers morning line. Only 9%, but you know, so much of the win percentage is being taken up by the 5 and the 8. But anything on this horse, the 4?
Yeah, I prefer the 4 if it was 5.5 or 6 furlongs. I think this horse, Big Prankster, is a true sprinter, and I think may have a little problem. If you look at a 6.5 furlong race, should have won, and it just packed it in late, and it didn't look like it was that overly fast paced that day. And it's been in. To me, this horse might be. You know, and again, it's Christopher Clement. He's more of a turf guy. So he's looking for answers. He's going turf. He's going back to dirt. He's going back to turf. I'm not interested when he's, they're doing things like that because they're looking for answers, and I don't think they get it in this race. Maybe 5.5 furlongs off the dirt. I would love this horse in a 5.5 off the turf race, which was 2 back August. That's the perfect spot for this horse, in my opinion.
So, okay. I'm surprised because when I look at this horse on paper now, Mike Maker, who's really 17%, but I think he's brilliant at some of his claims. This horse, blinkers were added last time out. That it didn't work. The horse broke 9th, but it only lost by 3 lengths against a similar group. Mike Maker claims this horse for $45,000, brings him back at the same level, but the win percentage jumps up to 27% and the GSR jumps up to 78. Thank you for that, Al. So what are we supposed to do with this 8 horse? I mean, when you run the simulator, it looks like he could get carried wide somewhat. He's a little far back even at the stretch. What do you make of the? I mean, the thing is that the simulator has not accounted maybe for the Mike Maker taking over on this horse. I'm going to see if he's taking the blinkers off. He has not taken the blinkers off, so Mike kept the blinkers on and off the turf. And this horse has done, obviously, all of its damage on the dirt. So obviously it makes sense to put this horse back on the dirt. Can you elaborate more on this horse who's 6-1 on the EE morning line?
Yeah, no, I like this horse a bit. It's definitely used for me in the horizontals when I'm playing them. This horse basically started its career in stakes back as a 2-year-old, right? As a 2-year-old was in New York State Bridge Stakes and performed very admirably. I'm concerned with the layoff line. So you've got November 22nd to the June 23rd. Then you have another layoff line from August 23 to April. And then now again, a shorter layoff line. But the claim is interesting. But I will tell you that second race off the layoff, maybe this horse to me is more of a dirt horse. So that was a tune-up race. You can throw that race out. And if 2 back, though, the horse did lose to Excellent Timing. So I think because Excellent Timing has speed, I want somebody here who's got more speed. I know blinkers on, and Dylan puts his horses in good positions, so I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, no, I could see this horse. If you want to use this horse, I have no problem with that.
I'll tell you what's interesting to me is the fact that for an 8% trainer, Irad decided to get aboard. I mean, the horse must have been doing very, very well, and now jumps up to 27%. Mike Maker takes over. The horse has that back class. Since that back class, though, and that was also, by the way, all that money earned was as a 2-year-old. This is a different story now. On paper, I can't play this horse personally. I don't like the post, and the only reason I would play it is because Mike Maker is aboard. I mean, it's interesting that Irad jumped on here for this small trainer, and the horse did break bad. I don't know. It's mixed feelings for me on this one. But you're on the 2-horse either way. For me, I have a note. Watch for dirt long on this 6-horse here. That was back in 2023. I put this note. So this horse is coming back. It's training really good. Good. It looks like a good workout. Let's take a look at this workout by Bruno real quickly. So what you're talking about is on the inside. We'll move this video up a little bit. Okay. Let's see. I mean, likely to need this race. There's some, decent horses in here. I probably won't go this direction, but and really the 1-horse on the inside, to me, again, I'm not the aficionado on this, but looks a little big to me. Yeah, I don't think that's all that impressive work, to be honest with you, for me.
I actually, because like I said, I spent an inordinate amount of time on this race. I did actually look at that replay. And I'm like, it really didn't impress me. But I was trying to make this horse because the layoff does concern me. But then again, the horse did win first time out. So maybe the layoff isn't, a contender. But I decided to pass because I'd like to see one race. I think next time out for this horse may be the spot.
So this horse, the 1-horse, real quickly, because Patrick asked about it, but just gelded. Flavian Pratt jumps aboard, and Lasix has been added. It had Lasix one time, and that was the only that horse won that race with Lasix added. Then who knows, with all these rules, Lasix taken off, and now Lasix back 4-1 in the E morning line. The negative for me really with this horse, besides the rail, is that this horse beat a 62 group. This is a 70 group. I like that Pratt's aboard, but Manny Franco gets off to ride the 5-horse. I think I'd rather stick with the 5. I'm not. What did you think about this one again?
Yeah, I mean, it does have a huge drop down from New York State stakes races, but it had a lot of races last year. Needed the layoff most likely. 4th race off a layoff. Gelding, there's too many question marks here for me to use this horse. So to me, even though George Weaver's barn has caught fire, it's probably more turf related. I would pass on this horse. I like the workout, but it's not an easy pass, but it's a pass for me.
Well, I like the 5 to win this race, either gate to wire or sitting off with a 4-horse, depending on who breaks good. The horse is reliable to break good. It's a very good breaker. So is the 4 for that matter. Those two are going to be in the lead. Hopefully they won't duel, but the 5 can rate. I like Manny Franco on the 5-horse, so I'm going with the 5.
Okay, I'm locking you in, Scotty. 5
right.
Vetriano. Okay.
All right, we got 3 races at Keeneland to do for this feeder, and there is 18 minutes, so we're going to have to hustle, and let's run this race.
All right, so while you run the race, I'll tell you that it's about 7 furlong at Keeneland for maiden 30,000 for maiden fillies 2-year-olds. Okay, interesting race. I didn't know where to go here. You've got a couple of you got a first-time starter. You've got horses with limited starts. And in all honesty, this is usually not my expertise race, a race I normally pass. It's in the contest. We have to play it. I narrowed it down to a few contenders. And unfortunately, the 1 horse that I thought was a contender, there's no love shown by EquinEdge on it. So makes me be a little, question that my belief there, but in my handicapping skills. So I basically narrowed it down to the 4, the Love Bug, the 7, Bisa, Magnetic Beach. I don't know as a first-time starter, so I'm probably going to pass. But I thought the 6 was also a contender, so I narrowed it down to 3, just to save a little time. If you look at Love Bug, definitely a contender. This horse comes from Ellis Park, maiden in 2 maiden 50s. Lifted a hoof in 1. The other one was done early at 5 furlongs. Stretches out to 7. Is this a 7 furlong horse? Tom's the tot. It could be. but drops down from maiden 50 to 30, so definite contender. Bisa, who's the EE #1 pick. This horse has had a number of starts as maiden special weights, either Churchill, Saratoga, on the turf, started out in the dirt, then to the turf, back to the dirt. A few question marks to me that I don't like. And the 9's the first time started with pretty solid works for John Ennis. The horse I was looking at here is the huge drop down, who hasn't lifted a hoof, but I'm really not worried about it because the name of the horse is Don't Worry. So that tells me I'm not really worried about it. For Vicky Oliver, she had a winner, I believe, yesterday. This horse started out in Ellis Park in a 6 furlong race with 12 horses and stepped slow. So you can just toss that. That's basically a walk around the track, a workout. And then went to Kentucky Downs, and this is maiden special weights, and ran in a race that was just another 10-horse mile race at Kentucky Downs. That, again, the company here is just much, much easier, dropping to 30. Am I concerned that this horse hasn't lifted a hoof in either race? Yeah, possibly. Maybe the horse can't run, but when you go down from a maiden special and you come from Kentucky Downs mile race, cutting back to 7 furlongs. 7 furlongs is a tricky distance for 2-year-olds. But so I like that at least this horse has gone around the track a mile, drops back from a really, really difficult race. I mean, some of these horses, if they were in that race, it'd be 100 to 1, let's be honest. So based on the huge drop down, I'm just all over the 6 here. Don't worry, Scotty, for me. The 6, and I guess if I was going to play a second ticket, it would be the 7. So 6, 7.
So when I interpret the race simulator and I see all these horses here, probably the 3 horse I was going to say we could throw out, but this horse is also dropping from a maiden special weight in the first race. So I can't even really throw this horse out, and it's only 3 1/4 lengths behind on the race simulator. But when you look at the 6 horse, we don't know, and the simulator can't really know, if this horse breaks good on this drop in class, it's going to be sitting right off of the 4. It possibly could be sitting in second place. I agree with you, and it's 20% as well. This is a major player. I want to like the 9, the first time starter. It seems to me like first time starters win races like this where none of the horses really look all that great.
Right.
The problem is that 9 post is not a good place to be, and the projected speed of this 9 is really not all that great. And many times first-time starters break slow as well. The connections don't exactly win a lot. So, I had mixed feelings on the 9. It's really not a great place to be. You really want to be near the lead. And I don't know that the 9 is going to be. And on top of that, going to end up being wide. The 2 horse is interesting. When we're talking about price horses, the 2 horse at the first call is a little bit further back than I'd like to see. And then even goes further back. So again, we're talking about like even in the stretch, you need to be within a couple of lengths. So for me, I'm going to throw out the 2 and the 3 pretty easily. And even at the first call, you're supposed to be within a couple of lengths on these sprint races. Projected the 9 is back here. The 5 is back here. Even the 7 horse could have trouble and be in between horses. So the 1 horse Cuckoo has a look here. And I think really cannot be ignored. And I'm probably going to go in this direction. Its form looks terrible, but this is not a great race. I'm going to take a chance on this long shot. I don't understand why this 1 horse is 8 to 1 on the EquinEdge morning line, and nobody really looks all that great. So I'm going to take a risk on the 1 horse to sit a really nice trip on the inside. And I think the 7/8 distance is going to be perfect for this horse.
Okay, wow, Scotty's reaching out for a long shot here. So Cuckoo for Scotty, #1. We're both reaching out. Mine, again, the 6, if you look, this doesn't look like this horse can run. His morning line was morning line 4 to 1. So 7 to 1 EquinEdge morning line. So it shows you there are no world beaters in here. It's a very weak race. But the concern I would have with Cuckoo is I'm not sure this horse is 7 furlong horse. I mean, Audibles can run at 7 furlongs, but based on its profile, but we'll see. But yeah, I think we're both going in the right direction. It doesn't pay to bet any of the favorites. The 7 here, no. Or even the 4. It's trying to beat them. And
well, my angle is going to be, the extra distance might help this horse. I mean, it was 32% to win last time out, and it's right. Facing easier competition here. Again, I'm using the race simulator a little bit. I mean, you have a horse with the race simulator that says it's only going to be 1 3/4 lengths back, and a race that looks wide open. Why not? I'm going to try to beat Love Bug. This horse is a little bit dead on the board. I will say, here's what I see with this horse. It didn't break good in his first start, and that was 5 furlongs. This is a very fast horse, but at 5 furlongs, it's just a completely different race, as you know, than a 6 furlong race.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know what I mean? And so I'm judging this horse off of this second race, which means this horse has a chance and might even be on the lead with these small connections. Of course, I'm rooting for Jane Elliott for sure. But this horse, I think, is going to be breathing fire late, and I don't see this horse being around at 7 furlongs. I think it's a horse like the 6 horse, like you said. Visa probably is a horse you have to look at. But look at this horse ran against a 40 group last time out. Now, albeit it was 8.5 furlongs, and now it's going to 7 furlongs. But what is it about the 7 horse that's so great? It's never been in the money, and now it's 2 to 1. Come on, you got to beat horses like that. So, you know, the 5 horse is only 9% to win. It's a second-time starter. Certainly, this 5 horse has every right, 112 pounds. But when you're putting a bug on, like, that means that you don't exactly love this horse. You're trying to get every advantage you can. So that's not exactly encouraging. The 9 horse is really wide, but this is why I said with these first-time starters, if the pace is wrong on this 9, you're really going to have to beat the 9 horse here, David. Like, this is a race where a first-time starter is probably going to win. I'm going to take a chance on the 1 saving ground. The race simulator says the horse might be right there, and I'm going to say I like 1-9 in here. 196.
196. Okay, so 196 for Scotty. I'm on the 6. I guess my second pick would be the 9. 6-9 for me.
6-9. Okay, 6-9 for David. Okay, race number 2 at Keeneland. We've got 10 minutes, so let's hustle here.
All right, race number 2. You run a simulator. You will go at a mile and a 16th, maiden special weights. So this is for 2-year-olds again. A couple of bunch of 2-year-old races early today on the card. All right, so I looked at this race, and again, with these, especially going 2 turns, I want to know what the pace is. So if I look at the EE pace metric, it doesn't really decipher too much because it looks like no one really has an abundance of speed here. We've got 2 horses with a 57 and 1 with a 56, 1 with a 49. So, I mean, so the lead basically is for the taking here. And I think based on the way the race sets up, that if a horse does go and grab the lead here, may be difficult to run down because I'm not sure if the first time start is the 5 and 7. I don't want going 2 turns, so those are throwouts for me. The 4 does put blinkers on, so maybe this horse will be on the one on the lead. But again, I looked at this race and narrowed it down to the 1, 2, 4, and 9. And okay, so which one would I want or be most comfortable with going into the feeder? Okay, so let's take a look at the 9, who would probably be the favorite as the EE top pick. And this horse started out his career at 6.5 furlongs at Churchill and bump start, so you can toss that race out. But the horse was almost 70 to 1 in an 11 horse field, so that would concern me. Now this horse is now stretching out for the first time. And what do we have for a GSR? Hold on a second for Concrete Cruiser.
The GSR goes up to a 61, a couple of points.
Right. Okay. All right. But this is normally, this horse could stretch out. Oh, I forgot to include the 8 as a contender. The 8, Kenny McPee's horse, is definitely a contender. But I'm going to pass on Major Dax, first time stretching out from that outside post, because I think you want to be on the lead or second going into the first turn. And I don't think that's the profile here with the 9. And I'm not sure that's the profile with McPeak's horse also, the 8 Desperate Proposal. You know, most of Kenny McPeak's horses are closers. And again, that's just generalizing things. But this horse was bet down to 5 to 1 in its first race at a mile. So
it says rough trip. It had a really rough trip.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Rough trip that day. So you can kind of toss that race out. This is a gift box and can easily stretch out, in my opinion. But if I'm looking to find a horse here that I'm most comfortable with, I went to I want to be closer to the inside. And I think if you watch the dirt races yesterday, there's nothing wrong with the inside to the middle of the track. I thought maybe the outside part of the track yesterday was a little deep. So with that in mind, I looked at the 1 and the 2, and I think I'm settling on the 1 here in my feeder, dual income. This horse started its career at Monmouth at 6 furlongs and was off slow. So now you get another horse who's off slow. This horse is out of Enticed, which is a Medaglia d'Oro, and then shipped to Churchill. And it's not a bad race. This horse was jostled at the start, had the 3 post, and then kind of pressed the pace, was third, second, and then plugged around for third, but he lost to a horse that won by 14 lengths. So that was just a blowout win. So I'm thinking maybe this horse stretching out with the cozy inside post will be right close to the pace and have a chance. So I think I was leaning there. And I also think that the 2, Gifted by Design, another gift box for Jose D'Angelo. Saez is jumps up on board, and you've got 6.5 furlong opening race at Gulfstream and off slow again. So you have like 3 contenders here getting off slow. So who knows how they're going to get off. I would probably think out of the 3 of them, one's going to get off slow again. But I think the 2 is a contender also. But in the long run, I went and landed on the 1 as my top pick, dual income, and using the 2 as my second pick. So it's 1 dual income over the 2 Gifted by Design.
All right, so we got to go quick. We got one more race to go, but I'm going to go with the 4 horse. Look, it's top pace, top SOR, EE second pick, top win percentage, top EE morning line, and the favorite, the EquinEdge top pick, the 9, draws that wide post. I'm going to pass on that. It's not a good starting position for 8.5 furlongs. You can see the track diagram. These horses will win 48% of the time with an 81% in the money, and they're adding blinkers, and it had a really nice workout here while adding the blinkers. We don't have time to watch it, but I'm going to assume that it was the horse was running very good. And when you look at the race simulator, if we throw out the 9 because we don't like the post, the race simulator has the 4 horse winning the race. This first-time starter is somebody that, for those of you looking for a price, you should consider. These are really nice workouts for Greg Compton. He's only 12% with first-time starters, but the race simulator has this horse, aside from the 9 being in there, right there. So I would strongly consider the 5 horse. I'm going to go 4-5, but if I was playing 2 entries, I would use the 4 and 5, and I might even choose the 5 over the 4 because the 5 is going to be a price and the 4 is not. So, but let's go to race number 3.
Okay, race number 3. We've got a mile turf race, non-winners at 2 allowance, $110,000 allowance race. All right, this is some head scratcher, huh? I did struggle with this race. So we've got a bunch of lightly raced 2-year-old horses here. So my angle. I'm looking first time turf, and one of them was the 5, Bless the Broken. Evangeline Down. I'm not sure. This horse just erred, breaking its maiden against a weak field. Not sure I want this horse first time turf. We're looking at Al Stall has an interesting prospect here with the 4 likely perspective, but usually these Europeans I let beat me first time out. You got to show me you can like the North American courses. I'm looking at Mean Eileen as the top EE pick for Joe Sharp. This horse is an obvious contender with the speed, right? This horse broke its maiden down at Kentucky Downs and then right back a week later. And was favored both times, but didn't get the job done in the last stakes race there as the favorite. And
let me cut you off real quick. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with this first race at Belmont, but the horses are walking around the saddle ring, and they don't even have the saddles on them. So it's interesting.
Let me pull up the feed.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there. We clearly don't have a rush anymore here.
Scotty, just bear with me a second. We don't have to rush since they're not in.
Yeah, go ahead.
You see the commotion going on upstairs with the dogs. I want to make sure he's okay. There's somebody probably broke into our house. Hold on a second.
All right, you got it. Hope not. So anyway, so they're walking around in the saddle ring, and they have in the paddock there, and there's no saddle cloth even remotely near. So I'm not sure what's going on. So that just buys us a little bit more time. Keeneland's first race starts in 21 minutes from now, so we'll see. But when I look at this race, I've eliminated the 1 and the 11. So I like to go to the second call in dirt races, or in these turf races, I mean. And you really need to be within 3 lengths at the second call in order to really be a major contender. And then when you go to the stretch, same thing. Now, the 4 horse is 3-1 on the EE morning line. I think we need to look to see, why the win percentage doesn't like it, why the race simulator doesn't like it, even when you go to the finish. So let's make sure we rule this out, because it's not all the metrics aren't always okay. It's a foreign horse. There we go. So how about we look at these Bruno notes? Really, we don't get the information on foreign horses yet. So next year, that's the plan. And so, but luckily, that's not the majority of these races. But likely nice outside. Sometimes these horses take a while to acclimate, because a lot of these races here at in the United States and in North America, they're more based on speed. But let's watch this workout of this horse. Outside of Rando is what it says. So, all right, they're coming up on us right now, and let's see. Now, mind you, this horse is going to do better on turf. So whatever you're seeing on dirt, if you like the workout on dirt, you can see the horse is kind of climbing, not really enjoying the dirt. Doesn't know what to do with it. This is a turf horse. So whatever you see here, most likely this horse is going to be way better on the turf than what it is on the dirt. Let's just see.
Correct.
I mean, looks to have a very nice stride. Like, that's the first thing I noticed. It's a really good stride. I mean, maybe there's something there with this 4 that we should be ignoring. I came away liking this workout. Al Stahl is 16% with horses first time. And off the layoff. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm sorry. First race back, 16%. I don't know. I kind of like that workout. And you got Jose Ortiz aboard. I mean, Jose Ortiz is really having he's just having a nice game. He's such a good jockey. I mean, again, he's another one. How he's not 22%, I don't know, David. The house still intact? Everybody okay?
Yeah. I don't know what was going on up there, but the wife is not there, and we're watching my daughter's dog also. And good dog, but they bark a lot when they're together. And it's
okay, good. I want to remind everybody that we don't get the raw data on these foreign races in Ireland and Hong Kong and UK. So just remember that. Like, you're gonna have to take some. I wouldn't really look at the metrics. Sometimes we have the parents, and sometimes there's some information. But when you see this, do you see how the horse is 6%? It was 6% here as well. Like, you need to form your own opinion here on this. Okay. Sometime next year, hopefully, we'll have all this data, and it's going to be awesome. But right now we don't. So just be careful. When I look at this horse and I see that workout, it makes me like this horse. Did you just see that? Did you see that, David?
Yeah. I actually looked at that workout also, because when I see an Al Stahl first-time turfer, I'm like, I was interested. But I'd like to see a race first. I don't think I'd be interested in wagering on this horse.
The one thing, though, is most of these horses don't usually win first time out here. It's just they have to acclimate. You can see that we have the sire, right? So if we look at the sire, Kamiko, earned $530,000, not bad, and all of it on the $384,000 on turf, and then $146,000 in synthetic. Nothing wrong with that. As far as the dam goes, nothing really to speak of. You can see didn't really do anything in the 2 starts that she had. So nothing all looks that great. The horse was kind of climbing on the dirt. Synthetic, it won its first start back in Ireland. Again, if you're spreading in this race, if you really like something a lot, then you probably wouldn't use the 4. But maybe you get a price. Maybe you get 4 or 5 to 1 on a horse like this 4 horse. You'll know in the betting, if you see this horse getting bet to 2 to 1, 5 to 2, the horse is live. So just watch for that. Right. And I really don't think this favorite is not all that. This favorite is not all that. That race at Kentucky Downs was decent, but it wasn't all that. And so I don't think this horse necessarily has to, win this race. But what are your thoughts on She's All Charm?
Yeah, I think I really, when you look at the EE picks, I think they've got it right. We've got it right to the first three contenders. Yeah, She's All Charmed broke his maiden at 5.5, now 6.5 in that Kentucky Downs race, and also had another trouble line. Inside post though, and didn't break, steadied. Now blinkers on. Does this horse want to go a mile? That's the thing. And I think More Than Ready, one of my favorite turf sires. Yeah, I think this horse is a big contender. Yeah, but I think the reason, and the 10 is going to have speed, but I think the 10 is going to have company up front. And the 6 shouldn't be too far off with blinkers on, right? So I thought As Catch Can may get a perfect trip here as the EE long shot. So I just think, and again, this horse just broke its maiden in the 8 and then moves into higher company, facing winners first time. But I think this horse has some room for improvement, and I don't think you can go wrong with.
Hold on 1 second, David. Hold on 1 second.
Live racing at Belmont's canceled due to a maintenance on the roof of the casino. Are you kidding me?
1 second, David. 1 second.
Sure.
Chris Griffin is speaking. Oh, that's it. Live racing has been canceled. So I'm not really sure what Horse Players does now, David. Normally I know what they're going to do in the qualifiers, and there was 3 races at Aqueduct in the qualifier. So they'll just it'll be every race but those 3. That's all. So the qualifier, you're still good. I don't know if they do the same thing. Maybe they're just going to do the all 3 races at Keeneland. You'll see.
Yeah, I think. I'm sorry, Scotty. Yeah, I think, if to the best of my knowledge, it's got to be at least 50% of the races going to be completed. So if that's the case, I would say this is a go with just a 3-horse contest, but I'm not sure. It may be more than 50%. And I'm not going to pull up the website and read all the rules. I'd probably be able to find it, but it's going to be too time.
Well, no, they'll put a note up there. I am sure.
Oh yeah, they will. Yeah. But
we're watching for it. We're watching for it.
Yeah, let me see. Actually, since now we have a little time, right? So let me just see.
We have a little bit of time. I think we need to finish handicapping Keeneland 3 first. Okay.
Yes. Sure.
Let's do that just in case, so we're prepared in case they're just going to do Keeneland, and I'll watch the update over at Horse Players. All right.
Yeah.
Let's finish this.
Yeah. So the bottom line is that I thought the 8, for Jonathan Thomas, if you tell me I can get a Jonathan Thomas horse who just won last time out on the turf as the 3rd or 4th choice in a race, sign me up. And so I just think this horse doesn't have to have the lead. Showed in this last mile race that stalked and took the control. And I think this horse has a lot of upside. It's just my opinion by watching that race at Colonial last time out, and also watching his first start on the turf where it drew an inside post going 2 turns. So I think this horse has some upside. So I'm all on it. 8 As Catch Can.
Okay. David's on the 8. Hello, Catherine. How are you? Yeah, we just heard that.
Good one, Rob.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, no update yet for Horse Players, but we'll watch for that. Okay. I'm a little behind on this race. I didn't handicap it. But when I look at this, I see the 4, 7, and 8 so far back, and you and I both know that horses aren't usually coming from that far back on Belmont's turf, correct?
Yeah.
Them come from that far back very often?
Not too often. No, unless you have like a pace meltdown. Yeah.
Although we don't know what the 4 is going to do, to be fair. So let's see here.
All right. Well, can I just
1 second.
I got the answer for you. It's going to be canceled. The feeders.
Oh, the feeders are canceled altogether?
Well, it looks like it because the rule here, I just pulled it up, that the 70, if individual race events are canceled, any selections made for those events will be voided and will be be made available for future play. The 70% rule regarding race cancellation still applies. So 70% of the races have to go off. So based on those rules, those specifications, it looks like the feeder is a no-go.
Oh no,
so
yeah, the feeder's gone. Yeah, it's gone. It's off the page. In fact.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
feeders.
That's the 70% rule. So hey, listen, we learned something. So now you know that it's got to be 70% of the races going. So we'll still have the qualifier going. So how many races? We only had 3 at.
So the qualifier, there's 10. So we're going to have 7 races.
So that's 70%. So that's perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So 7 races. Wow, we got to have to pick 7 winners then, because it makes it even more difficult.
It does. It does.
You're gonna have a disparity. Whoever wins today, and then the 100th guy is probably going to be a separation of $10 or $15 at this point. So it's going to be a close one.
So we've got okay. Well, we're definitely handicapping Keeneland. So I mean, we've got the. So maybe we handicap the early pick 5 at Keeneland or something like that, and then we can watch the Keeneland races along the way, and then we can do the 7 races, which won't take us too long. How's that sound? Does that sound okay to you?
That sounds good. And to be honest with you, Scotty, my plan was to concentrate on Keeneland today anyway, so that's good with me. Now it also bums me out that I wasn't able to head down to Keeneland. Now with the Big A being canceled, can I get a quick flight down there and I can be down there for tomorrow?
I know. I will say, like, if you're playing in the qualifier, like if you've already got your picks in, it's no big deal. You don't need to change anything. It's believe me, you'll think and if you haven't put in picks for Belmont, don't feel like you need to handicap those. Leave them blank. It's fine. Just handicap all the races for the qualifier that are not Belmont Park or EquinEdge, the B of A, BAQ, excuse me. So, okay, don't worry about that. It's going to be okay. There is no Belmont races today. Just handicap the other 7. That makes it easier. It's a little bit tougher. Do you lean more now that there's less races? Do you lean more on just picking the winners, or do you lean more on trying to find prices? Because essentially these are mandatory races. So what do you do in this situation?
Yeah, I think when you narrow it down to only 7 races, my God, that's a tough contest. My thoughts on that would be, I think you got to just pick winners, right? And don't worry about too many long shots, because it's a percentage game, right? So if you look at data analysis, statistical analysis, if you have 70 races, you're going to have X amount of long shots, right? If you have 15 races or 12, you're going to have X amount of long shots. But when you have 7, you're going to have less amount of long shots. I'm not a mathematician, but the chances of you getting a cap horse with 7 races are probably not good. So I would just try to pick winners and move on. I mean, if this may be one where I just play all chalky ticket and then one with moderate priced horses, but I'm still sure out of my picks I have 1 long shot in there, which I'd probably still use. But yeah, I think the game plan would be changed a little bit in my mind.
Okay, David. So since we're detouring to a pick 5 right now, early pick 5 at Keeneland. Right now in the pool there is $206,000, and there's still 8 minutes left. You're going to see over 400,000 easily. In fact, you'll usually see 50% of the pool in the last 3 minutes. So we could be looking at upwards of $700,000 in the pick 5. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. So you like the 6 and 9. I like the 1, 6 and 9. So we're leaving out Love Bug. We're leaving out the 5 Cohart. We're leaving out Bees of the favorite. So we're using 1, 6, 9 in the pick 5. Fair, or do we need to add somebody else in here?
Out of those 2, I think I would add. Well, now you're looking at jockey combos too. You want to use Bejarano or Hayne Elliott?
I mean, look on the 7 horse. You have the favorite, and Bejarano and Karamori are 0 for 4 jockey trainer combination. The 5 horse McGee and Makata are 50%. They've won one of two races. Even on the 4 horse, Hamilton and Elliott are only 11% in 18 samples. I mean, maybe we look at the 5 horse a little bit closer. Cohart, a second-time starter. The GSR does go up. I mean, you're talking about a Bug, second-time starter. I mean, I don't know. Let's see.
Like,
The dam had a lot of races. Holy hell. 32 races with, 6 wins, 2 second place finishes. I don't know. I mean, maybe the 5 is one you have to add possibly, but the races are pretty tough. We want to be able to add horses later on too. So I don't know. I'll take your opinion on this. Right now, I've got the 1, 6, and 9 in here for us.
I think I would throw in the 5 based on having a race over the track and not a bad ran around pretty evenly, but in light. Yeah, I let's take the risk. Throw out the 2 favorites. Okay. No guts, no glory.
I agree.
1,
okay,
5,
race number
6,
2.
9.
Race number 2. You have the 1 and the 2. I have the 4 and the 5. We just covered those 4 horses.
I would be afraid of leaving the 9 out.
The 9. Okay. No, listen. Okay? You want to win the big money. You got to leave those favorites out. Otherwise, you're just going on. You know what I mean? Like you said the exact word that you afraid. Don't fear.
Right.
You got the 9 post. I say we try to beat it so we can make sure we cover other horses, because if you
let's try to beat it. 1, 2, 4, 5. It is. Why not?
I agree, because then the 9 can win, but again, now you're just going along with everybody else. If we're going to try to win the big money, if you use the 9 here, it's going to affect the ticket, meaning our budget's $120. That means you're going to have to use less horses in some of the other races that might be tougher.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, I mean, I'll throw it in there if you really feel like it's but I think maybe trying to beat it's a good thing.
I have to tell you, in retrospect, I would rather use the 8 than the 9. So if you want to leave them both out, that's fine.
All right, let's look at the 8 horse a little bit closer. So it's a second-time starter. GSR goes up. It's training really good. I actually like this horse better than the 9. You know what's throwing me off a little bit, and I got to be careful because it's only one metric, but the EE morning line at 15-1 is throwing me off just a bit. But it does draw wide. Let's look at the. Let's look here. I mean, it's not gonna. It's probably, and look at, even in the stretch, it might have a little too much to do. If you look at the third call, it could be 4 lengths back.
Right, and had a rough trip, and and again, if you're looking to narrow it down to the 8 and the 9, you Kenny McPeak stretching out to a mile and a 16th, or Jeff Hiles. I would always go with the McPeak horse.
Yeah, lost by 27. Like, let's see what Bruno has to say. Desperate outside, Somerville 49-1, 103 flat. Somerville second best. This workout. Let's look and see how this horse moves. Let's just be prudent here. So on the outside of Somerville,
we have 4 minutes, Scotty, to get through the other races for a pick 5.
All right, I just real quickly want to just see how this horse is moving to see. Yeah, I mean, did you see that? I mean, it just got hit. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, let's pass on this one. Okay. Leg number 3. We've you had the 8 horse as catch can.
Mm-hmm. And I think you'd have to throw in either, if not both, the 6 or the 10, if not both.
Let's see here. The 10 horse. Yeah, the 10 horse has speed. I agree. It's a horse to watch as well. The race simulator automatically used your 8, and it's using the 6 as well, who's 9-5 and 40%. We saw that. I think maybe we throw in the 4 horse because we don't know what that horse is going to do. What do you think?
The 4 horse?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you may have. Yeah. I could be on board with that.
And Cotilliard, this does not look like the worst horse in the world. Like, its first race back was, the 12-hole 6.5, which, and this horse is 14%. I mean, maybe as a price horse, this horse is 10-1 EE morning line and 14% and has a good pace number. This horse might be better than it looks.
Could be. Yes.
All right.
Yep.
I'm going to add it. Okay. Then let's go to race. Let's rerun the ticket generator and see how much of a budget we have left. We're using the 1, 6, and 9. Who did you like in race number 4?
Race number 4, I could actually almost single Trust Daddy. This horse is 1 over the Keeneland strip at 7 furlongs, goes 7 again. And then the other horse is Cathedral Beach, who's 1 for 1 over Keeneland and 3 for 3 at the distance. So I'd either go 3-9 or just single one of them.
Wow, the race simulator has these horses literally all within 3/4 of a length.
And the 7 has 1 at the distance also, and also at Keeneland. So take your pick.
Wow. I mean, it is a move up in class a little bit for the 9. The 1 horse looks okay. Cathedral Beach. Yeah, this is a really rough race on paper, isn't it?
Yeah, even with the scratches, you got a bunch of scratches. That didn't help too much because anyone can win. But sometimes if I was formulating the ticket, I think I would just take the risk and single the 9 outside post, stalking the other speed. But again, there's pitfalls with that, obviously.
So you had the 1 and 2, and I had the 4 and 5 in here. So we're looking at a $200 ticket. Who did you like in the 5th race?
In the 5th race?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the one who I thought was a long shot was the 9 I liked. I was looking for long shots there. I like the 11, the 7 or the 11. Those are the horses who we're going to use.
The 7 and the 11 horse. 11 Surf City.
That's going to be a long shot. That's
it's going to be a long shot. It's going to be wide. Urban Legend is. I thought this race was crazy wide open. I thought the 8. This is going to be a price horse is going to win this race most likely. 5 is going to be the favorite, but it's part of the speed. There's a lot of early speed in here.
And the 2 is very fast also.
Yep, the 2 is very fast as well. Was part of that.
I think it's a pace meltdown. That's why I picked the 7 and the 11. Especially the 11. That's the horse going to be flying.
This 8 can run. Look at the GSR. It's going up 18 points on the 8 horse for Cowens. It needs the turf. This could be your price. I thought the 1 horse. Look at this one. This 1 horse is going to be finishing really big as well. Wow. I don't know that we're going to have to single somebody here. I think we should maybe spread here. And what do you think?
I think in the 4th race, then in a shorter field, I think we should spread. But I think we going off already? I think.
Is it going off? Did we miss it? Yeah, we did. Let's watch this race. That was tough. Here we go.
We're trying to call an audible, so
yeah.
Who goes 4th? Comes up the rail within a length and a half.
That was
the lead. Don't worry.
This is a rough 5. This thing might pay pretty good.
Lengths. Bushi is a word. Drops back on the outside.
What did you have in here again, David?
Sweet Star to
the 6.
The 6.
Don't worry.
5 more lengths. Back to Cohart, who's the trailer. 23.7 seconds.
Look how far back Cohart is at 5. I mean, struggling.
Bisa go at it for the lead. Magnetic
Beach
that's
a horse.
To the far outside.
That's a horse, David, right there. They
by less than a length around the turn. Cuckoo, then don't worry.
He's had to really work on that.
Has to angle 4 wide to the midpoint of the far turn. Is still in 4th, 2 lengths off the lead. Magnetic Beach tries to get going 3 wide from 3rd. It is still.
Look at the jockey
for the lead.
21-1.
Horses. Love Bug to the inside. Magnetic Beach to the far outside. Don't worry. Has to go to the grandstand side. Is still 4th, but finds clear running there. 3 lengths from the front. Bisa pokes ahead in front. Love Bug to the inside of that one. Here's Magnetic Beach again to join them from the outside. Don't worry. Then Cuckoo in 5th. Final furlong. Bisa with the head in front. Magnetic Beach runs on for the outside.
Yeah, I told you, the outside of the track, it doesn't look as great.
By Magnetic Beach. It is a late run from Cohart toward the inside. Bisa wins the opener for Rafael Bejarano.
All
yep,
right.
The favorite that we're trying to beat. So, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, look at it this way. I saved myself $18.
For sure.
It's still 5. We still would have had 5 races. But, yeah, so I noticed, too, Scott, I just want to interject here. I had a couple of horses yesterday that I needed who looked, if you look at that 6, you're like, oh, perfect spot. And they just never seemed to get it into the last gear in like 3 or 4 dirt races. So I'm thinking you want to be in the 3-4 path at, no wider than that. In my opinion, it looks like you got to be in the middle of the track towards the rail to have the best shot.
So I'm going to follow this horse, Cohart. This horse, that jockey did a nice job on the 5. He was pushing on that horse the entire time, and it was still making up ground. Here's a 2-turn horse for sure. And if you look at the GSRs, look, everything is distance. right? So I love finding horses like this. So I think this is a follow for 2 turns.
Right.
At this level, of course.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, then we can move on with another game plan because we're out of the pick 5. We saved everybody money, so we didn't get it in. Scotty, I just wanted to interject here again. Do you want to answer? Let's see. I don't see it. Ross had a question about he doesn't understand. If we could explain the GSR and the SOR just quickly. I don't know if you want. Private Ross 99. Hey Ross, thanks for joining in.
Let's see here. Keeneland is like.
Please define for me GSR and SOR. I forgot. So.
Please define for GSR and SOR. Okay, sure. So let's go to it. Okay. So the SORs are essentially our class number, and all of our metrics are from 1 to 100. So the SOR essentially in this context here, it's showing you the last 5 races, and it's not an average exactly. There's some other ingredients in it, if you will, but essentially when you see this number, this is going to show you the strength of the fields that a horse has been facing. And you can see it's pretty even here, except for the 4 horse who didn't run. And the 4 is a little bit lower. And then you have a first-time starter in the 9. That's what that is. Okay. And then when you go here in the past performances, it's going to show you the strength of fields that a horse has faced. So where in most traditional handicapping platforms, they just give you the level. I can tell you firsthand, look, here's an example. You have a maiden. This is a great example. A maiden optional claiming 50K. And look at this. This was a 44 SOR group, and the horse got second. Here, same thing. But look at the SOR. It was a 50 group. So it was much tougher, and the horse didn't run good. So that's the strength. So you can use the SOR that way as well. So you can use it to judge the horses against each other, and then you can use it to judge the horse against itself to see the fields that it's been facing and how it did, and kind of get an idea of maybe the class of the horse. That's the SOR. So it's strength of race. Now, the GSR is genetic strength rating, and this is our breeding metric, again, from 1 to 100. And the higher, the better. You can use this GSR to compare horses against each other. And we have it over here as well. And then here, you can use it to see, here's an example. So this horse has had 62, 62, 62, been running okay. And then look at this. It went to turf for the first time. 0 turf breeding, and look at it. It got just walloped. And it also went up in SOR. That would be a reason also why it got walloped. It was also 1%. But you can see it wanted no part of turf breeding. And when you go to the GSR Plus grid and you look at it, you can see this is an all dirt. So the tab, 62 on the dirt, and 18 points lower is the turf. And then 15 points lower than the dirt is a 47 on synthetic. So it tells you clearly that this horse wants dirt. And then when you sort the distances, you can see it wants longer on the dirt. That's what this horse wants, right? And that's the SOR and GSR. Hopefully that helped.
Perfect. Thank you, Scotty.
Strength of race or class of race. Yep, exactly. Same thing. Strength of the race. And it's essentially our class number.
Right. So it saves you looking at all the, let's see, okay, what was that field compared to? That was a non-winners of 1 allowance race. He broke his maiden against the maiden special. This one broke his maiden against maiden 50. You got a one-step thing there. You can judge the quality of the competition by just looking at one number.
By just looking at the SOR. And it's super important. And again, like the main example is all 20,000 maiden claimers are not the same. Sometimes you get droppers into those races, right? And you just don't know it because you're looking at a level. Level does not tell the story whatsoever.
Not necessarily. Exactly.
Nope, not necessarily.
And sometimes the older claimers, you could say, well, you get an older claiming race, $25,000 to $30,000 claimer. That may be a stronger race than non-winners of 3 lifetime may be a much stronger race than a non-winners of 1 allowance race at the same track for 3-year-olds. So
exactly right. It's super. There are a lot of people that would tell you that their favorite metric and their most important metric is the SOR, and I agree. I mean, they're all important, but man, show me. I want to. How many times have you seen a horse lose by 10 lengths in a race, and then another horse win by 10 lengths, but the horse that came out of the stronger race beats the horse that won by 10 lengths. That happens all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's who you face.
Right, exactly. And also people get deceived. They look at an impressive 10 length win and they're like, wow, this horse just aired out. And then the horse just, won by a neck coming up. And then when the two face, the horse that just won by a neck just demolishes the horse. And again, that means it's quality competition, right? So
exactly. And yes, what Patrick is saying here is every first-time starter has a medium of 50. They start with a 50. So no matter what level, it doesn't matter. They start at a 50. That's the way the for first-time starters it works.
Okay.
Absolutely. By the way, you can just go here. You go to www.EquinEdge.com, and you'll see right at the top of the right page, you'll see free coaching classes. There's 3 per week. So easy to do. Well, what did I do? Sorry about that. So yeah, 3 per week. All right. So let me tell Brad that Gulfstream or races from Belmont are canceled. All races from BAQ are canceled. Please take them off the upcoming races. All right.
All right. So yeah, obviously the 70% rule is in place because they just posted on Horse Players. Belmont has canceled today's card. The featured card will continue to run with the remaining 7 races.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Boy, that gives us plenty of time. We have no excuses for picking 7 winners. Okay. So let's run the table and then guarantee you or one of us, me getting tour points or you getting a second seat, Scotty. So
absolutely. And we have the ability to do this, and we're gonna get handicapping, but just to break it up a little bit, since we don't have as much, I'll show you this real quickly.
And there's a race.
You need to be somewhat near the lead. I'll tell you that right now at this track. So I'm going to tell you, I think the 2, 6, or 7 is going to win this race here. And we'll watch it.
Okay, and it's going to be. There's another race. I would love a horse at a different track, and I have a note here so we can watch that race and see if I'm any good today or not. And I had too bad Belmont's canceled. Aqueduct. See, I slipped up this time.
It is Secret
too
Storm
bad
settling.
Aqueduct canceled today because
you had some horse you really liked.
Yeah, there's a horse I really liked in the 5th at Belmont.
This 6 might run good here.
Locked off their race. A great start. No clear-cut leader. Narrowly Secret Storm with Dissectologist coming through to share the lead. Tasman and Dissectologist on the outside in front. Right behind them, Sparklet as they break away that group of 4 by 2.5 lengths. Court speeding on the inside. Today's at the back with Right Pie. Racing through on the inside to the lead is the favorite. Tasman in front, pressed by Dissectologist, who's traveling pretty easily. They're out by 4 lengths to Secret Storm on the inside, pushing up his Sparklet. A length to Court speeding away from the rail, off the track today at the back. But on the inside is Right Pie. 22-1 was the first fraction. And Dissectologist is really pushing this leader. Tasman, the favorite, a neck in front of Dissectologist. They're still well ahead.
Very rare.
4.5 or 5 lengths.
But they don't
Court
make up
speeding,
ground
running
here.
home on the outside.
It would be unusual
then Secret
for this
Storm,
one
and on
to
the
win
rail,
this race.
Sparklet turning and still in front. Tasman starting to labour a bit. Dissectologist is giving ground, and Tasman got away. Court speeding down the centre, hard at it. Sparklet with some run, hemmed in a little bit, but out in front by about 4 or 5 lengths. Tasman, and now opens a winning margin that's unstoppable. And down to the wire, Tasman goes on to score effortlessly. Wins by about 7.5 lengths.
And
Sparklet got into the run second from Court speeding.
I think it's important, like if you look, like use the race simulator. You go, okay, in sprint races, I'm going to the first call. Okay, so the 2 horses got a pretty good lead. The 7's right there. And the 3, look, the 3 is actually not bad. But then when I go to the second call, the 3 backs up a little bit. And it was just too much to overcome. You go to the stretch, you're looking for horses to be within 2, 3 lengths at the most. And then so you can see here the 2 wins, and here comes the 3 horse who ended up getting second. So that's the way you can. Oh, I'm sorry, I was not sharing my tab. Let me do that again for you. So here's the first call, and then you run to the second call, and you can see that the 2, 6, and 7 are right there. 6 didn't run at all. and then you run to the finish. And here comes the 3-horse closing, the 5 horses closing, and the 2 ends up winning the race. 32% to win, top pace number. It's also a horse to watch, and ends up winning the race. So 2 wins the race over the EquinEdge long shot. Let's see what that exact is going to pay. A 2-3 exact to $8 for $1. So, all right. All right, let's start handicapping. We'll show you all of the Keeneland races, and then if we need to break up, or you're interested in like Gulfstream Park, any race where we can actually show you live streaming, be glad to show that. Laurel Park we can show Gulfstream Park as well. But we only have 7 races to cover, David. But let's go to Keeneland race number 5. That starts the first leg, and why don't you start us off here, Keeneland race number 5.
Okay. Keeneland's race number 5. We started briefly discussing it with our failed pick 5 ticket, but so I have it up here. And again, this was a very, very difficult race, and we can spend some time on it more because we have a little more time than normal, and we have a scratch of the 9 Roi Soleil that I thought was a contender, a closer in the race. So the first thing that I noticed here, we've got some horses with a lot of speed, so this should be a really contentious pace. Keeping in mind that Go Captain off its last race, man, this horse just took an extremely early lead and coasted. That was August 31st at Kentucky Downs. And if you were watching the races that day, which I was because I was in a contest, and speed was just incredibly deadly that day. I mean, if you got a horse out in the lead, the horse was gone, especially in these sprint races. I think there were 3 or 4 wire winners early in that card. And this horse had gone off at 23-1, first time on turf. I don't know how I missed this. This had my winning profile all over it. Motown, first time turf. But again, I didn't anticipate, if you saw, got off slow first time out. So as long as this horse doesn't got off slow, this horse is going. The 5 Urban Legend also has speed, but doesn't look as much. Maybe it does have as much speed. This horse will be gunning. The 3 Alcove, I think at this distance, the only way this horse is going to win is on the lead. Glacial Power does have speed, but I don't think as much as the top 3 contenders. So in a nutshell, I just think it's a very contentious pace, which led me to look for a closer who could not even necessarily stalk the pace. Sometimes these closers, the horse, I guess, the last jump. And one of the horses that I was looking at, Glacial Power, I don't think really needs the lead to win. So that would be the first horse that I'd say could stalk and possibly win a race. So I thought Glacial Contender, the 7, was a contender. Then I went to the outside posts and took a glance at both the 11 Surf City and the 12 Committee of 1. So let's go to Surf City first. And this horse is only 1 for 6. Has been racing at different distances on the turf. Back last year in November, had a pretty solid second at a mile at Churchill. And then if you look back, went back to the dirt. Had to lay off, comes back to Keeneland last year and runs a mile. And did not really run around evenly. Then off the turf, that race you can throw out. Lost to Glacial Power at 5.5 furlongs on a good turf course, but then broke its maiden at Ellis Park, 5.5 furlongs. And look what the horse did. It came off a 21 4 fraction and closed and won by 2 lengths. It's almost 7-1 and beat Alcove, who's in this race. Now, if you look at his last race, first time against winners at Kentucky Downs, this horse, Frankie Dettori, was on, and this horse started off way in the back at 12th position and came up flying, got 5th, but only a length and a quarter behind the winner, length and a half behind the winner, and was really close again with Glacial Power. So, I mean, if Glacial Power, these horses aren't separated by much. If Glacial Power is 6-1, then why is this horse 12-1? And that's what led me to try this horse. I mean, I'm hoping for a contentious pace and a horse flying. So I would use Surf City. And the other horse that I'd probably be interested in is the 12 horse Steve Asmussen's Closer. Again, comes out of Kentucky Downs, had the inside post going a mile. I'm going 6 furlongs. This horse is a pure sprinter and needs a lot of pace. So I'm hoping for a pace meltdown. So I'd use the 11 on one ticket and the 12 on the other. So that's the way I looked at this race. Contentious pace meltdown.
David, you have a new nickname. It's Harry.
Really?
Did you change your name? Were you a bully?
Was I a bully?
I don't picture you as a bully. Like maybe if you come around, you're just a nice guy now, and you learned.
Yeah, former bullies can turn into nice guys. I wouldn't say I was a bully. No, I wouldn't say I was. But
were you a fighter? When you were younger, were you a fighter?
Not particularly. No. I get into a couple of issues, but nothing. You wouldn't define me as a. I'm sure that you were. I can picture you being. You in Golden Gloves or something, and it was.
No, far from it.
No.
No, but listen, I'm going to write that down. You have a new nickname, though, for sure. It's Harry.
Okay. Well, the thing is, too, a lot of people in high school did call me Harry. So
called you Harry. Why?
What's that?
Why did they call you Harry?
Harry, my last name. It's just an abbreviation.
Oh, duh.
You get it? Harry Harrison. And actually, there used to be back in the day on WABC radio in New York City, there used to be a DJ. This was the most popular station in New York, ABC. So if anybody knows, is New Yorkers, they'll know this. It's Harry Harrison was one of the disc jockeys. And when I was in school, people used to call me Harry Harrison. I had a long hair, believe it or not, back in the day.
That's really hard to believe. That's
I know, isn't it?
I can't visualize it. You know how some people
I was
have no hair? I can't visualize you with hair.
All right. Well, maybe I'll give you one of my high school pictures and I'll send it, pop it on the screen here and send it to you. But so they used to call me, I did have long hair down to my shoulders, and they used to call me, instead of Harry, they changed it to call me Harry Harrison. Too much hair. And then when just a quick story, when my wife met me, one of the things she liked about me was she liked my long blonde hair. And see what happened. Then she said, I didn't sign up for this.
Hey, by the way, let me talk about Surf City real quickly. And you've proved me wrong numerous times. The chances of Surf City winning, I think it's in the money. It's going to be wide. First of all, when it did win here, that was against a 48 group. This is a 60. It's 6%. It was 19%. Everything else the same. It's just going to be too late. Like, how does this horse really win this race? You know what I mean? Like
I hear you.
I don't know. I mean, but I do that only because I love to play devil's advocate with you. But you prove me wrong most of the time. But I like the 11 too. It's not that I didn't like the 11. I just don't see it winning.
Right. And again, if you look at the competition that the 2 has kept, the company, maybe the 12 might be the better option as the closer. They're both Mendelssohn's. The 12 is 1 for 13 and the 11 is 1 for 8. But I'm just thinking maybe the 11 being slightly less, having slightly less races, not much, but maybe is turning the corner off of that maiden breaker. So maybe getting a little better. I think that's where I see a little improvement especially those last 2 races. So I'm hoping for improvement, rapid pace, and I think this horse will be closing. It's a matter of, does this horse get up to even hit the board? But I'll take that shot.
Okay, so 11 for David. I'm rooting for these connections. I didn't see this race, and it kills me when I don't see it, because look, this horse moved up 35 points in GSR. Or 34, excuse me. 34 points. Like, this horse wants turf. I mean, I can't even imagine look at the grid. 72. Like, that's amazing. You have to look for horses like this, you guys. Like, this is what you're looking for. Like, this is a dream right here. And you know where you usually see them? It's with second-time starters. A lot of times, first-time starters, the trainer can't get what it wants. This wasn't a bad effort. Broke 10th here at Oaklawn Park, and in the second rushed up and was a half a length back. Right there was the sign that maybe this horse was fast. Right there, and then it moves up and gets a 34-point increase in GSR. That's insane. So good. I would have loved to have seen that. I would have bet my lungs on that. I know that the Justin loves like situations like that too. So Justin would have seen that. I did not see that. That really bums me out. I would have played that horse at 22. In fact, I wouldn't have just played it. I'd have singled it.
Yeah,
okay.
As a matter, we've talked about that. It's first time turf is right up my alley, and I missed that also. And I think it was a race I just passed because I was in the contest that day, that turf contest. So I think I just passed because it wasn't a playable race. I thought it was so wide open. But yeah, there you go. Turf.
Well, and here's the thing: like speed normally holds in situations like this, and the race simulator says that this horse might actually have the lead. Urban Legend can rate a little bit and is going to be sitting, but the 7-horse Glacial Power is going to show some speed. Its style is being near the pace, and it slows down usually. I don't see this 7 winning this race. It's won one race and 7 tries. I don't see it. Alcove, I agree with you. Going to be the in between horses, needs the lead as well. I don't see that. Urban Legend needs to be near the lead. I see this horse slowing down like it did in the last couple of races as well. So I personally aren't. This is why I can't eliminate your 11, because I think that the speed's going to stop, and that's hard to say because speed usually holds. So, but there's a lot of speed in here, and I think it's cheap speed. This is where I'm going to take a chance. By the way, this 8-horse Pensacola, please don't leave this horse off of anything. This GSR is going up 18 points for Cowens, and you and I both know Cowens. This guy gets prices. I mean, he is a really good trainer. So Bill Cowens. Bejarano's aboard. This horse has been in the money in 6 of 8 races and finally getting back on the turf. This is what this horse wants. In the one race that went 8 furlongs on the turf, it had some issues. I'm not sure what they were, but it broke through the gate, the start. It was, yeah. So throw that out. Coming off the layoff, the horse is training good. I would not ignore this 8-horse, but I'm going to go with the 1, and I'm going to tell you why. Look at this horse is going to save ground from the rail, you guys. But it's further back than I want it to be, for sure. But if the speed stops, then look at the way this horse closes. And that's if everything was perfect. If these front runners start slowing down, then who's the benefactor of this? That's the 1. I think it's the perfect type of horse that you would use in these mythical tournaments. The perfect type of horse. So I am all over the 1. I like the 12, the 11 and 12 to close as well, David. I just don't like the post positions, so I'm going to go against that. And then I don't know what the 8's going to do, but there's a high likelihood that this 8-horse runs a better race. But I think the 1 is definitely guaranteed most likely to be in the money. And but I'm going to take the 1.
Okay, it's the 1 for Scotty, the 11, and possibly the 12 for me. It's between the 2 of them. I think I'd still stick with the 11. But just as a matter of fact, interesting fact here, and I think it's not confirmed, but that you mentioned the 8 and William Cowens. I was just cruising through X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, and I saw a post saying that never seen anything like this, but Bill Cowens, the trainer, is 10 for his last 11 going dirt to turf.
No, turf to dirt. Just the opposite. It was turf to dirt.
Yeah, you saw that.
Yeah, that's the stat. Cowens is really good taking turf horses and putting them on dirt. But I don't see why he wouldn't be the same taking dirt to turf. I think this 8-horse, you cannot ignore this 8.
Yes, so that's why I wanted to point that out. And now I can't find but as long as you confirmed it, I wasn't sure.
It was definitely turf to dirt, which this is just the opposite. But this is a really good trainer, you guys. And this horse wants turf. I like look at the tab. Look at an 84.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this horse wants turf, and he broke through the gate here. And you know what is a sign of usually a horse to run good is when they're running decent, but just not getting there. And they need to get in. There's a possibility that this horse runs a very good race. I don't think we're getting 12 to 1. This horse has actually been going around. I think this horse can end up going off at probably 5 or 6 to 1.
You may be right. You might be right. This horse is could be a contender here. Wide open race, like I said.
All right. So again, race number 5 is in about an hour and a half from now. I think it is. Yeah, 3:08. Actually, what time is it?
3:08. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3:08. So about an hour and a half. All right. Why don't we get to race number 2, because there might be a play there for us. And you're on the 1 horse. Let me run this. The race is going to go off in about 4 minutes from now, David.
Okay. And Scotty, while you run that, I'll be back before the race begins. Yeah, thanks.
All right. Let's just see.
As well, why not him? One of the liver long shots from the morning
what's
line,
got
live in the current wagering, is currently sitting at sub double digits at 9-1 on the board right now. But still favoritism with the 4-horse Concrete Cruiser. Less than 3 minutes away from the start of the early pick 4. The pool over $115,000 here at Keeneland.
Looks like a beautiful day there. Look at the 5, 20-1 on that 5 horse. I think sometimes, you know what I learned more than anything? It's not necessarily that a horse looks great, but sometimes you see horses that are sweating, don't look good, head is in the air, they're already pulling before the race starts. You know, we don't see that. The 9 looks fantastic. I mean, that is a really beautiful animal, isn't it? So I think sometimes it's good just to take the time, don't rush, and then kind of look at horses. 2 looks okay. 9 to me looked much better. But, you know, has the 8 post. It's not really a great place to be wide like that. So run the simulator to the first or second call and kind of see where a horse might be. 4 looks gorgeous. There's your favorite right there. Lukewarm at 2-1. All right. So we've got 3 minutes before the race. Let's run this here. Hold on. I'll rerun it for you. I'm on the 4-horse Concrete Cruiser. Now they're adding blinkers, and this first-time starter, it's not that I loved it. It looked good on the track, by the way. It's just the race simulator had this horse. That's the trumpet saying that the race is near. Now the 9, Major Dax, you know, you can see certainly deserves a look. My concern is that the horse was going to be wide. Now it has the 8 hole now because the 3 horses scratched. Look at the first call projection. Based on the race, the horse is really not all that fast. That's 8 actually. So it could get carried out wide. The 4's tactical, going to save ground on the inside. I think one of the first 4 posts wins like 48% of the races, maybe more. And that includes the 5 now since the 3 is scratched. David likes the 1 and the 2. So we're really, and I've got the 4 and the 5. So we like those inside posts. So I like again, I think the 4 is going to find a way to win this race. Blinkers are added. And we'll go to the race. Let's see right now. Where is it? All right. There we go.
Okay. How did it look in a post parade, Scotty? Any?
It really looked good. The 9 horse looked gorgeous. The 9 looked really gorgeous. But you know, again, it does draw wide. You're on the 1 and 2. I'm on the 4 and 5. I think the blinkers added. I think the 4 is going to run a really good race. So I'm on the 4.
Moving into line,
5 looks okay. 4 and 9 look the best to me.
Okay.
6.5 furlongs.
4 is 2-1.
8.5 furlongs.
4 is 2-1, and the 9 is 3-1. And then the next we got a 8 is 4-1. 2 is 5-1. My 1 horse is 7-1. I love that number.
Why not him?
You know,
Moves
a lot
into
of
line.
times I will take.
Surf and M comes forward.
I will
with
take
desperate
horses like the
proposal.
4 horse. I usually am going
Cruiser
to take
has
a
just
horse
gone
that's
in.
had experience at
Major
going
Dax will
distance,
be the last one.
right? Especially 2 turns, which we don't have that in here. But the 4 horse has gone 8 furlongs. The 8 horse has gone 8 furlongs. But I will say that it
Surf
doesn't
and M
apply in
squares
this
up,
race.
goes into the gate,
but
and the last one comes forward. Major
You want to lean
Dax.
towards taking a horse that's already run 2 turns if you can. That'll
First wire at the post.
sometimes you'll get horses that maybe aren't as good, but they have that experience.
And they're off.
Makes a difference. All right, see where the 9 is.
Gifted by
David, that's
Design
the reason
from the
why I didn't
inside.
like
Here's
the 9.
Surf and M, and there's Concrete Cruiser between that pair.
Now,
with
it did
Dual
cut
Income
in,
up
so
close
it's not
in the
necessarily
opening
wide, but it
strides
did
as
lose a
well.
little bit of
Concrete
ground early
Cruiser
on.
moves
It had to
forward,
cut back
has
in.
the lead. Surf and M goes second. Dual Income
And
is third
horses
to the
don't
inside.
usually
Desperate
come from this
Proposal
far back
moves up
on
in
this
fourth.
course
3 lanes off the rail
to
into
win
the
these
first turn.
races,
Now
so.
taking third. Now challenging
But-
for second. Gifted by Design is a
And they
lane off
often
the
get
rail.
overbet.
Further back in fifth. Malachi sixth between horses. Major Dax is seventh to the inside. And there goes Why Not Him with a 3-wide move from last off the first turn. Improves 2 positions. Opening quarter went in 23.75 seconds. Up the backstretch, Concrete Cruiser, the leader. Concrete Cruiser against the rail leads it by a length and a half, now by nearly 2 lengths. Desperate Proposal second, a length and a half. And then Surf and M to the outside. Dual Income back toward the inside. That's the battle for third. Then a gap of 2 lengths more. Why Not Him is
Not
fifth toward
exactly
the
a
inside,
slow
5
pace.
lengths off
It's
the
a-
lead.
it's a fair
Gifted by
pace.
Design to the outside. Major Dax looks for running
9's
room,
moving
6 from the front
beautifully on
against
the
the rail.
inside rail.
Gap of 7 more lengths back to Malachi. Last 47.53
And 9's
seconds
gonna
for
be a
the first
player in
half
this
mile.
race.
Concrete
6 is
Cruiser
toast.
leads it by 2 lengths around the turn. Dual Income moves up
8's
to the inside to
8's done.
challenge
Here
for
comes
second.
9.
Desperate Proposal is now third on the outside of that one. And Dual Income changes lanes, comes off the rail between horses, quarter mile out, still second, a length and a half off the lead of Concrete Cruiser, top of the
Well,
short
here comes
stretch.
the 5.
Concrete Cruiser leads it by a length
Been
off the
running
far
in
turn. Dual Income to the
weirdly.
outside in
4
second.
is toast.
And Major
Here
Dax is
comes the
toward the
5 on the
inside.
outside. If it
Major
can straighten
Dax looks
up.
for running room down toward the rail. Dual Income comes forward for the lead. Major Dax up the inside. Surf and M
And
on the
9 is
far
gonna
outside is
probably get
coming.
there.
These 3
Pull up.
come forward.
Here
Down to
comes
the
the
line.
5.
Major Dax, Dual Income, Surf and M.
Yeah, 9's
Major
gonna get it.
Dax wins it by
They
a
really
neck
stopped late.
over
David,
Dual
if you look
Income
at this,
second and
they went
Surf and M
47
third.
and 2, and they slowed up to 113 and 2. I mean, it's such a very slow race for a mile and 16.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing so impressive with this in terms of time.
No.
So, yeah, my one ran a good race.
One ran a very good race. All right, let's.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we did. We're on Keeneland race number 7 now.
Keeneland race number 7. Let me just pull that up on my screen and see what we got. All right.
Okay,
So
I'm going to run this race. I'll be right back. Okay.
Sure. All right, race number 7. Apologize, my computer screen's a little slow. Still on 6. All right, the screen's not working, but I'll pull up. Race number 7 is a mile turf race. Non-Wizard 2 lifetime, $110,000 purse for 2-year-old fillies. And we've got another wide open race. And let's see, who do we have? We've got the simulator has Mean Eileen hanging on the outside. Hold on a second. We got the wrong race here. I apologize. The 10 Raining Flowers is the one who gets up late. And this horse, Raining Flowers, morning line 5-2, came out of the Phil Johnson Stakes in Saratoga, going 2 turns. Now is it a mile? The concern I have with this 10 horse, even though the simulator has a horse getting up, is that we've got is the post. I mean, this is a mile race. It's a 2-turn race. And if you see where they start, it's not a long run to the turn. So to me, if I have an outside post, I don't have a problem with an outside post on a course like this, as long as the horse guns to the lead. But I think that the 10 post could be a little tricky here. So I'd be a little reluctant to use that horse in my contest. I just think there's a number of ways you can go here. A number of contenders. So if I go to a couple of the other horses here, I think Tom Amos's horse has got a shot. Just make sure there's no scratches here. And still, I can't get the 7th race on my EE screen here for some reason. It's just not coming up. Okay, finally got it up. Apologize for that. I finally got the screen showing the correct race. So we do have a pace factor edge here too, with Pressure having an 83 number from the rail for Bill Walden. And even though this horse is morning line 20-1, with that rail post going a mile, this horse is going to get the lead going into the first turn. And that might increase the odds of this horse winning. And then you got the 5 also blinkers on with speed. So this, Scotty, I was just describing this race is just so wide open. There's so many ways you can go here.
It is.
And there's, I mean, I can't even narrow this down because you've got horses. We do have a couple of key scratches here. The 3, Sweet Treasure, and the 4, who I already mentioned, are both out. So that does take a little pace out of the race because the 3 was projected to have speed. Now, it's a matter of who do you want here? Do you want a speed or you want a closer? And that's the way this race, to me, shapes up a little bit. And while I'm mentioning the 10, who was a contender, I just had mentioned Scotty. I didn't love the outside post for this horse. It was a horse at that price I would probably fade. Yeah. And I think I'm getting a little chalkier going through the day. So I think I was looking to stretch out or go to a long shot here. And I don't think we'll get 15-1 with the scratches. But if I take a look at the 2 horse Into the Fray, and this is a horse that intrigued me a bit. This horse opened its career a maiden claimer, 50,000 at Ellis Park on a 5.5 furlong race, and won, basically stalking a very fast pace and drew off nicely in the stretch at 7-1. And then second race ran in that Kentucky Downs meet and a mile stakes race. But if you look, this horse had the 11 post out of 12. And like I had mentioned before, with these outside posts, that's a real, especially Keeneland, where you're going into the turn rather quickly. I'd prefer an inside post. So if you consider that post being not advantageous with that the 2 horse having the 11 post, this horse did rush up and was stalking. It basically was laying second, fourth, and just kind of packed it in. So maybe is a case, does this horse want to go a mile? I'm not sure, but that was a stakes race. This horse is now coming in again at a mile. Lannery stays aboard. I just think at that morning line price, it sort of intrigued me. So it's a horse I'm willing to step out with and take a chance with. So I was on the 2, Scotty, here, Into the Fray. Russell Arnold horse.
Okay, I really like the 9 flip flops, and when I see this and I run to the second call, the 9's about 2.5 lengths back, not bad, and starts just moving up. The 10 and 11 I'm going to try to beat. They're too wide. They're too far back. The 11's not going to be necessarily that far back, but it does drop in GSR. I think the 9's a better bet. 1 on the lead, but it's dropping in GSR. And the 2 and 5 and 6, like for me, I've narrowed it down to the 2, 5, and 6 and 9. The 5 is a major player who's 4-1 on the E morning line as well. I just, again, don't like horses that just break their maidens, but Irad jumps aboard. You're getting a better jockey. The horse won first time out. So over at Delaware Park. But I think this 9 flip-flops is an interesting horse with Machado and Cassie. Second off the layoff. Didn't run great, but that was against a much tougher group. The win percentage goes up and facing easier horses. It's also the EquinEdge second pick. I'm envisioning a decent trip coming from the 9 horse. The 5 horse, Dear Louise. I think with Irad, you have to give this horse a long shot look. I like the 9-5.
All right, so Scotty's on flip-flops. That was going to be my second choice, so you kind of stole my thunder. But yeah, we're kind of on the same page. I think I'm going to box a 2-9 exacta in this race. Why not?
Let's see here. All right, so we have we've covered that. So let's see. That's again, you don't have to worry about putting in a pick for Belmont BAQ. Don't have to worry about that whatsoever. 9, 5. It's interesting too on Irad. You're getting 12-1 on the morning line with Irad. I know there's a couple of scratches, so that's going to come down, but 4-1 on the EE adjusted morning line. It's pretty impressive, and that horse is going to sit on the inside trip. That's the thing that's great. is that horse is going to sit inside nicely. Let's see here with blinkers. They added blinkers. Let's see here. Did they add blinkers for the race as well? Interesting that the horse wins first time out and they add blinkers. Yeah, they're adding blinkers as well. That's really interesting. After winning without blinkers, let's take a look and see. Dear Louise, this is the 5 horse today. It is on the inside, and you can see working with the blinkers. Again, that's on the dirt. Look at, not even asking. They went 47 and 3. That's a
good work.
That's a good work.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the 5 horse. Irad's on that, and Irad decides to get aboard that horse. And again, that was on the dirt. If you look at the dirt tab, it's a 62. If you look at the turf tab, it's a 72. And they went 8 of 49 in a breeze. Whoa. Wow. I got a tough call. I've got a tough call. I don't know.
Yeah, Scotty, I looked at that horse also, 5, Dear Louise. I love the breeding, hard spun out of the Danzig. But the race, the race that this horse was in, comes out of Delaware Park. And I'm not sure what the competition is there.
Yeah.
So what is the, let me look at the SOR. Dear Louise, that was a 46 group, right?
Yeah.
46, and now we're at a 66 group. So that's the concern I had. But yeah, I mean, if you have a talented horse, though, it doesn't matter where the horse begins a career, right? So this horse could be a sleeper. This horse could be there. But again, the blinkers on adds to the pace because the 1 is going to be gunning, and the 6 is not slow. She's not slow at all. So
I'm looking at the competition in the past races for these horses. Again, Flip Flops had the 12 hole. If you right in this race here on 7-6, and to win that race from the 12 hole, it's pretty impressive, and then came back in this $1 million race off a layoff. And I mean, obviously Cassie thought this horse is decent, and I don't see why that needs to change. Let me look to see. I'm looking closer at that race, and I can tell you that it was for Flip Flops. It was a decent field, a decent maiden field. Honestly, many of these horses have done pretty well coming back off that race. I'm going to stick with Flip Flops, but that was a pretty impressive workout for the 5 horse, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, 47, 4 furlongs, 47 and 3 breeze, and it looked good. Yeah, and the thing I'll also note about Flip Flops, if you look at, that's the same race, the juvenile fillies race at Kentucky Downs, the same race that Into the Fray was in, and so they both ran up the track. But again, to me, that's a lot of these horses just broke their maidens, and interesting that the 2 was 7-1 in that race, and the 9 was 20-1. So, but again, the 9 is a second race off a layoff with some improvement. I could see that. Yeah. I'm liking that 2-9 exacta.
Yeah, I'm throwing the 5. I think a 2-5-9 exacta might not be bad, but the 1 horse for me is Cheap Speed. It was 58% to win this last race, and went gate to wire against 5 other horses over to Indiana. And that was on a different surface. Now it's jumping up in surface in class, and the GSR dropped 17 points. I can't go with the 1. Lead or no lead, there's no way. I'm on the 9-5, and I know you like the 2 horse, and the 2 horse is going to save ground on the inside as well. So Shotgun Wedding certainly looks okay. Didn't run bad over at Woodbine, on the turf first time against winners, but that, it looks like it was a decent field. GSR drops a little bit. I'm going to try to beat the 6 horse. I really do. I think this 9 horse Flip Flops is the horse to beat. But Dear Louise, this horse looks pretty good. And Irad says I'm going to jump on. The horse is 16% to win. I might flip flop and go to Dear Louise. No pun intended. Okay. What do we have coming up? as far as races, Woodbine is went off. You got Gulfstream Park in 3 minutes, but it's a sloppy track. Big long shot won over at Woodbine. The 8-horse came in 8, 9, 10. And just for fun, let's take a look and see.
Sure.
What that was about. Wow, I'm glad we didn't play that race.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, let me look. Yeah, and it's probably made it. Sometimes I don't like looking back because I'm like, oh, I would have had that horse if I handicapped the race. But it's always great to red board, right?
Well, I also think it's important too. This is where
Yep.
we go wrong, especially when we're using the race simulator. It's saying if everything was perfect, this is what's going to happen. So then you have to look at these favorites and just go, okay, this guy clearly needs the lead, the 5-horse. Let's run the first call. There seems to be some speed right off this horse. So if it doesn't break perfect, then it might not have an easy lead. But to me, it looks vulnerable. I don't think this is. So if you start going like this and go, okay, vulnerable, now look at this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, now all of a sudden it becomes, a closer race. Then you have a horse like this where the EquinEdge morning line on this 6-horse was 12-1. So, but yeah, interesting. And the 8-horse wins. The 8-horse was 15-1 on the E morning line. It wouldn't have been a horse I personally would have liked because it looks like it needs the lead for its best too. And maybe it was on the lead early. I don't know. And went gate to wire. That happens a lot of times too. When you go to the first call, look at the front runners. One of these horses might get the lead and then go gate to wire. That can happen. But, Woodbine is a track, David, where you need to be very near the lead. Like horses do not come from too far back to win on the Woodbine surface.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. And in a lot of these cases where you have multiple speed horses, one of them doesn't get out of the gate well, and then the other one gets, the longer price horse gets out and gets brave because no one's challenging for the lead. So speed's always dangerous. Yeah. Always
dangerous. Okay, so now we go to the 9th race at Keeneland. Again, don't worry about the races at BAQ. They're no longer. So we're going to go to the 9th.
No longer.
Yeah, 9th at Keeneland. And this is a race that me and Alfredo covered on our show yesterday. So Alfredo's on the 11-horse.
Yes, I was listening in. Great show, by the way. And I was offended. I was offended. You never even mentioned my horse once in this race. And there was just so people who may not be aware, at Keeneland, you have 2 contests this weekend. So tomorrow's the $3,500 Keeneland Fall Challenge. But today they have a $400 on track only that I was really interested in. And I had a plan here, but I'm not going to, obviously I'm not in it. You have to be on track. And I would loved it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to qualify. I'm going to, and the horse that I like in this race, you gave me no love, but I won't tell you who it is. We'll go start analyzing the race. And
okay, let's run this real quickly. Okay, I'm going to go get a soda water real quick. I'm going to run this. I'll be right back.
Sure. All right, so the 9th race at Keeneland is the Grade 3 Sycamore, going 1.5 miles on the turf course. Let me just grab the rest of my popcorn here. I'm doing a Matt Miller. Okay. So we have the 9 who's projected to be the lone speed. Let's see how long Sogi is projected to last here. At the 4th call, and then here come the closers. The 7, Tony Port, who's be stalking. Then we've got the 3 coming up, the red coming up the inside. So we got a 3. Looks like a 3-7 finish there. Is that what they're? Yep, Tony Port. Okay, Highway Robber, who I know because I listened to the show yesterday, parts of it. While I was watching the Yankees' crucial game last night against KC, huge Yankees fan, that you were all over Highway Robber here.
Yeah, I love the 3.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to have a grudge match here because there's a horse I love, and I don't like your 3 at all at this point.
Whoa, come on. Why are you
no love for you didn't give my horse any love. You didn't even, this is a stakes race that to me is wide open, a lot of contenders. You never even mentioned my horse once. I don't think Alfredo did either.
Am I supposed to know your horse?
What?
How am I supposed to know your horse?
I know, but I'm saying it led me to, in all honesty, when both of you never mentioned the horse I love in this race, it started questioning my own. So I took another look at it. Like, am I missing something that they don't even acknowledge that this horse is in the race? So since I set this up, I might as well go right to it, right? So here's the situation. Let's go to Highway Robber first and just look at that horse.
You're going to make us wait before you tell us who your horse is, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
The anticipation. It's like American Idol. They're saying, okay, these are the finalists and blah, 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 blah. It's like after this commercial. So at least we don't have commercials. So I'll leave you hanging so you can, our ratings will increase. All right. So let's go to Highway Robber, who I acknowledge is a contender. And if would I be shocked if Highway Robber won this race? No, I wouldn't be shocked. Would I be surprised? I guess not. I don't expect the horse to win, but the horse could probably run well. And the reason I think the three may be up against it a bit is because the profile of this horse. This horse is a closer. Okay. This horse doesn't have a lot of positional speed. Now we're going 1.5 miles today. And when I start looking through the race, and I was on this horse, and again, these are horses I've bet on many times before. They're, I know these horses quite well, and I've been on one of their bandwagons and not getting over the top. But today might be the day. I think I want somebody who's either near the lead in this race or definitely on the lead. So if you look at the pace factor here, and I don't think that besides Sogi, Mike Maker's horse, who had the clear lead, right? I don't know if this horse is really the caliber of, winning a race like the Sycamore Grade 3. This horse has never won a graded stakes race. This horse, Swaggy, was racing for $25,000 down at Ellis Park in the last year. It was claimed, and it was basically a claimer, and then won the Louisville grade. Did win a grade 3. I take that back, but one way. There was no speed. The horse was 20-1, and went the first half in 50 and change, and just lulled the field to sleep. And there are no world beaters in here. To me, in the Louisville grade 3, to me, this is a much better grade quality grade 3. A lot more competition. So I think Swaggy will be probably setting the pace, and then I don't see this horse hanging on at all.
No, I wondered if this horse could go gate to wire.
Right. I don't think so, Scotty, because I think this is better competition. And, Verstappen's not exactly totally slow. Verstappen, if you look back at Turfway Park, February 4th, 23, this horse was right up near the pace. So I think Verstappen will be a little closer today and projected to be the second pace factor. But Ohana Honor from the outside post would have to really gun to press. And, with that outside post being outside of Swaggy, I don't love that horse's chances, even though it's 1-for-1 over Keeneland. Bold Act, Charlie Appleby. I get tired of getting beaten by Charlie Appleby, but I don't think this horse is so great. This horse lost twice to Swaggy. So I am going to pass on the Charlie Appleby horse, especially with that post. So here we go. The horse that I am trying to get up, and I basically running out of shots with, is Tawny Port. Tawny Port fires almost every time out. This horse is a game horse. You may remember Tawny Port. I believe Tawny Port was a 3-year-old dirt or synthetic horse. I think he won a major race. Is the Jeff Ruby at Turfway Park. I'd have to go back. But with that being said, this horse was changed over to turf. This is a clear turf horse for Christopher Clement. If you look at the race, let's go back to, first of all, you see grade 2. McDermott, Pan American grade 2, Man of War grade 2, grade 3 Monmouth, grade 2 United Nations, grade 2 Turf Cup. So let's go to the Monmouth race, where this horse stalked a very slow pace. Okay. And this horse was stalking the pace, and I loved the horse that day, and it was the Monmouth contest, and I was all in that day on that horse, and I'm like getting the perfect trip, just stalking the pace, and took the lead briefly in the stretch and was trying to hang on, and who comes slipping up the rail, this Fort Washington, and just nosed me out in a 3-horse photo, lost by a neck. Okay. Then the next time, the United Nations over the same race, and I apologize, June 16th was not the contest. The contest was the United Nations. So that's the horror show for me. I was all in on that horse that day, stalking Get Smoking, who was the lone speed. And around the second turn with 20 Port Lane second, I'm like, I'm definitely a winner. I am definitely going to win this contest, the Haskell contest. And then this horse just was trying to take over, and then Get Smoking was hanging on tough, and who comes rallying up the rail but Grand Sonata to nose me out a second for a huge exacta that would have probably catapulted me into the top 10 easily. So I am still smarting from that loss with a head bob. And then in the Turf Cup on September 7th, another contest. I was all in on Tawny Port again. Here we go, getting another perfect trip. And who do I get beat by this time? Just barely, is 2 of them, Grand Sonata and Highway Robber. So I am, this is the time. This is the perfect spot for this horse, in my opinion. There's not much speed in here. The horse is Irad Ortiz now picks up the mount because Pratt's in New York. I love that move. He's going to know where to sit on this horse, and this is the time for Tawny Port to turn the tables on some of the competitors in here. So for me, I don't want anybody but Tawny Port. Best bet of the day.
Best bet of the day, huh?
You got it, my friend.
You know what my problem is with this horse? Look, I can understand this horse, and I know it's been in the money for 13 of 22 races. But look at every time in the stretch, it loses ground. I mean, it didn't lose ground here, 2 back in the United Nations, but it just never gets there. Never gets there. It just never gets there.
Yep. I agree with you, and I'm concerned with that. Yep.
And the only thing that I'm seeing as well is when you look at the win percentage here from we look at the Turf Cup over at Kentucky Downs, it's going from 16% down to 11, whereas Highway Robber, who's coming out of the same race, is going from 8% win. So it was lower than Tawny Port was that day to 26%. So it's actually, in fact, higher. Now, that being said, Tawny Port is a major player in this race. I'm just playing devil's advocate, but
yeah, sure.
And I'd rather have the tactical speed that Tawny Port has than what Highway Robber has. I agree with you. I just think Highway Robber is a damn winner. You know what I mean? And I don't think Loveberry did a very good job. He was way too far back. And when you run the simulated race, if you look even at the second call, I mean, it's projected to be maybe 5 lengths back. And then, but what I really like is, look, I mean, every call, it's moving up, David. Every call. That being said, Tawny Port's getting first run on these. I agree with you. I don't think the 9 can go gate to wire. I don't like the post of the 10 and 11. Alfredo loves the 11. I didn't personally like the 11. That post position just does not win very often. I wasn't really a fan. I didn't like the 1 on the inside at all. I didn't see any great horses in here. I actually think this is, it's a grade 3. I think the Sycamore is easier than what was at Kentucky Downs. And the 11 horse is the EquinEdge second pick, and I respect Alfredo's handicapping because he's super good. But I think the race comes down to Tawny Port and Highway Robber again. That's what I agree. That's what I think. I did think the 1 horse deserved a look in the exotics, and I think you had mentioned this. But I think from the inside post, I'm not going to be surprised if this horse, because Brendan Walsh obviously is a wonderful turf trainer, and he thinks this horse belongs here. And you could end up getting 20, 30 to 1 on this horse. So I'm not going to be surprised if the 1. So I'm gonna do a 3 with the 7 with the 1 trifecta. That's how I'm playing this, and I'm going to try to beat Bold Act.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll just, with all due respect to Alfredo, who I totally respect his handicapping, is Bold Act. I mean, is lost, like I said, to Swaggy twice. Web Slinger had won that race. And if you look, this horse is also a money burner since he got to this country, but did win the Sycamore last year. So I will point that out. So the 11 did win the Sycamore, however, from the 3 post. Since that time, though, this horse hasn't done much since coming back from Dubai. Was favored money. Now this horse is a money burner because this horse, since it's come back, has lost at both odds on in April 20th and also May 18th at Churchill. So I won't no part, especially with the post. So there's 3 things against this horse. So with me, it's a throw out. So I think I know it's just good natured ribbing with your 3 horse, but I think I'd be using the 3 in my exotics with the 7. But and the 1 I think will get a nice trip. I'm concerned about the long layoff, but the horse is going to be fresh. So for the lack of pace, and I think you're right, the 7 was going to be first jump, and I'll be sweating because the 7, even if the 7 wins, is not going to win by much. So I'll be sweating it out coming down the stretch. So, but I think 7 gets the jump on the closers and has enough to hold off the 1 or the 3.
All right, so you're on Keeneland race 3. We're going to go to that in just a moment. They're at the gate, and wow, it's a nice group of fillies. They look great. You're on the 8 horse. Remind us again why you like As Catch Can.
I just think there'll be enough speed here, and this horse is going to get a nice stalking trip. I don't want any of the speed, and I think for Jonathan Thomas, this horse has some ability and can move up off that last race, show some improvement. So, yeah, I think it's good. Get a perfect trip here. So I'm on. And again, I'm looking for a little bit more of a price. So what do we have? What are the odds on that horse right now?
You're getting 5-1 right now. Mean Eileen, who's a horse to watch, is the top
Yep.
EquinEdge pick. And this horse is going to be tough on the lead. It's going to be tough to haul this horse down. Speed really holds here. 6 is going to run a good race sitting tactical. I think you're going to see the 10 on the lead, 6 sitting in second. But I would not ignore the 2 horse Cotilliard. I thought this horse could run a little bit. I didn't love this race, but I'm watching that 2 horse to see if maybe that horse can get up for 3rd.
Right. And I will tell you, the 10 looks really good on the track. I don't mean to be a physiology. I don't have a physiology major, a major in equine physiology, but the 10 did look good on the track, in my humble opinion.
Goes in. They're at the post.
All right. Good luck, everybody.
And they're off. Go Town and Cotillard have speed from the inside. They come forward in the opening strides, but they will have company. Jay-Z's Last Chance is up close as well.
Wow,
and there goes Mean Eileen. Mean Eileen is caught wide heading into the first turn. She's 3 lanes off the rail in the 4th position. Up front, Go Town has the early lead. Cotillard outward from the rail is 2.5 length. Jay-Z's Last Chance is now tucked away 3rd against the rail. And then Mean Eileen in 4th, a lane off the rail, off the first turn, just over 3 lengths off the lead. She's all charmed back to the inside.
I mean,
in 5th, Sweet
those are tight turns.
6th. Lamari Nera is a wide 7th up the back stretch. Poppy the Princess is back toward the inside in 8th. Likely Perspective is 9th. As Catch Can last of the 10, 22.
But they're at
22 seconds was the time for the opening quarter. Go Town the leader. Go Town is on top by a length and a half as they go to the far turn. And
anybody
Cotillard
catching your eye right now? I'm looking right
in
now.
second, and Jay-Z's Last Chance is 3rd toward the inside. Mean Eileen, she's 4th, still outward from the rail, still 3 lengths off the lead, though. She's all charmed, is 5th toward the inside, looking for more running room. She's 5 lengths off the lead, and then Sweet Heat is 6th as they come off the far turn, just over a quarter mile to go. Go Town to catch Cotillard second. Jay-Z's Last Chance 3rd to the inside.
Yeah, right.
Mean Eileen, then she's all charmed. She's all charmed, takes aim from the outside, from 5th to 4th to 3rd to 2nd. She's all charmed to the lead. She's all charmed, leads it now. Go Town fights on, but second. Cotillard is 3rd. She's all charm in front for Frankie Vittori. A late run from Poppy the Princess to 3rd. She's all charm. Wins it. Poppy the Princess up in time for 2nd. Go Town was 3rd. And
to win on this.
And also, the 6 was just by far the best. But I didn't anticipate the 8 being so far back. The 8 was dead last. And I anticipated the 8 being, middle of the pack towards the rear, but not dead last. But still got the
it just goes to show you too, especially like when you look, you have to always look at this info button, and usually it'll show the rails and how far out. But the rail is out. It seemed out to me anyways, and it's narrow. And when you have this 10 post, even though this horse had speed, those inside horses are trying to take advantage of that. These jockeys know that. And so they're trying to send. And then the 10 got carried a little bit wide, and that was all it took. Like, it was done. And not to mention, it looks like it's a type of horse that needs the lead as well. And then the 6, who can rate just sat right off of them and got a perfect trip. Dettori gave this horse a perfect ride. So 6 much best in the race.
Exactly. At 5-2.
Let's see here, Tony. Race number 6 over at Keeneland. We did. We David, who'd you like in this race number 6 at Keeneland again?
No, Scotty, the 6 was not part of the qualifier contest, so we
didn't
cover
it wasn't. That's right.
Right.
Didn't we talked about this race though, didn't we? No,
I don't recall. No, I don't think so.
Oh no, you know what? We did not. I talked about this race this morning with Justin. That's what it was.
Okay, well, since you're on it, and we do have time. We're going to stay on until the first qualifier race, right? So we got an hour. Yeah, you want to talk about it? Let's. Why not? Let's go for it. I didn't really.
Well, let me tell you. I think the one's going to go the lead.
Hold on one second. Let me just. I'm sorry. I just got to change screens here. I got to get an assistant to give him a cue to switch screens for me back and forth between. All right. So the 6th race, and we do have a scratch here, correct?
Yeah.
I know it's my computer, but I'm having difficulty navigating from race to race on EE. So what's going on? I'm sure my computer, my internet. All right. Oh, here we go. No scratches. We've got a 6-horse field. All right. I pulled it up. So what were your thoughts? You were speaking with Justin on this, so you've already got a jump on me because I didn't focus on this race.
Well, I thought the 2-horse Fancy is going to be the big favorite, but this horse has burned a little bit of money as well. So I thought that the one from the rail is probably going to send. The 3-horse is first time Michael Stidham. And this horse has some substance. It's earned $230,000, and I thought Inventing might actually get a nice trip and was one that you had to use.
Yeah, I was trying to be a little tricky here. And this is a 1.16 optional claimer, right? 80,000 for fillies and mares. I thought the EE Long Shot was the horse that intrigued me the most here, Cat's Cave.
Really? God, I did not like that horse. Okay.
No, the horse did win. Now you're figuring the distance. Okay. The horse did win at Churchill last year, November 18th, at almost 6-1, the 50,000 allowance race. So the horse can handle 2 turns. Right. I'm looking at the pace. The pace didn't seem like overly contentious. And then Turfway, obviously the second race after that, Turfway, probably not a synthetic horse. Then the layoff. Tune-up race for the layout. That wasn't the $100,000 going 1.1 miles. That was a good field. It looks like. Let's see who was in there.
Let me tell you why.
And then,
horse. Let me just real quickly before I don't lose this thought. When I sometimes the algorithms don't, especially the win percentage doesn't have a good beat on a horse, and this horse I feel like it has. Like, look, every time the horse has a decent win percentage, it runs good. Every time it has a low win percentage, it does not run good. And the win percentage is low on this horse in this race.
Okay.
In what seems to be a tough race on paper, that was the reason why I didn't love this 5. Is it really has not been wrong on this horse. Look, it had a 19% here. It ran good. 16% here down here on 7-1 ran good. Drops to 6%. Didn't run good. Back up to 15%. Ran good. Back down to 5% and 5% respectively. Didn't run good. Back up to 19%. Ran good. Now, this was tougher competition here, too, though. This was a 66 group, to be fair. Today's a 60 group, so it is easier, but the win percentage still drops, even though this is supposedly an easier field. So I think that I'm going to trust the win percentage algorithm on this horse in this race. But did you have a reason why you liked this horse?
Cat's Cave?
Yeah.
Yeah. Scotty, the horse is won at going 1 mile and 16th at Churchill.
Okay.
Now, again, it didn't look like it was the strongest field in the world, but again, this horse is now 4th race off a layoff. The mile race that she won on July 15th. Basically, no one else got the lead, and she just coasted. But she was the big favorite that day, and only a 5-horse field.
Yeah.
But I think this horse can be closer to the pace, and I don't think there's any world beaters in here. But I mean, you got the 2 being even money, having the class edge. Would you use that horse, Fancy? 2 for 9 lifetime, and it never, only tried the distance on the turf at mile and a 16th, and kind of just totally stopped.
I thought this horse, had burned money. It was inconsistent for me. Although I don't think there, it was only 8% to win last time out against a much tougher group, and it barely lost.
Against the group he dialed. Yeah,
it is coming off the layoff, and then 3 back. It didn't really run good on a sloppy track, but then it did break in its maiden. I had mixed feelings about this too. I mean, clearly this is the horse to beat on paper. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
I also didn't think the 4 horse, if I'm right, I didn't think the 4 horse was a contender for the win here. I thought the 4 horse, who's the EquinEdge second pick, was more a contender for an exotic spot. That's what I thought.
Lexi. Yeah, coming off the layoff. Get some tough races though. Musical Mischief. This is tough. For the race is a little tougher. And then Inventing is no slouch either.
No,
but off the long
I like Inventing. I like the trainer change to Stidham. Saez jumps aboard, has a layoff. The workout here. This is deceiving. You want to watch when you see a 2-star, and it's not necessarily a negative. I talked to Bruno about this. I suggested to him that he make these 3 stars when he really likes a drill instead of a 2-star, because it kind of has a negative connotation. And and he says, well, they're just breezing, and they're so you'll see this a lot of times with horses that are their last work, just a breezing work before their race. And but let's watch this video. The horse does this very nicely. So Bruno really liked this workout. I mean, the horse is clearly not being asked, and I mean, very nice stride, nice moving horse. Inventing, like really look at. I mean, powerful. Look at this. I mean, and I love to see her reach. I mean, reaching. I really like this drill, honestly. I mean, that's not a 2-star drill. Like Bruno, if you're listening, you need to. That's a 3-star easy. But again, that horse is not being asked, you guys, whatsoever. And that's a really nice drill for Stidham in his first time with this horse. I really like that, especially in a race where maybe the favorite is vulnerable. The 1 horse doesn't look all that. I think that Jose Ortiz is going to take advantage of the rail, and he's sending this 1 horse. And I think the 3 horse just sets a really perfect trip in 3rd place. And who knows what the 2 is going to do? It's either going to win by 5 or it's going to lose by 5. I think the 3 might be the horse. The 3 is the horse I'm keying.
The more that you're talking about this horse and then looking at the race, I do think maybe I would favor the 3 over the 5 a bit. But I think I would use both of them. I'm going to try to beat the 2 if I was playing this race, and I may play a pick 5 ticket today. So I would try to beat the 2 and try to get by with not sure about enclosure either. The only race allowance race this horse won was on a clear lead, and from the rail post, no one ever challenged this horse at Ellis Park. And Ellis, I think I remember Ellis being. I didn't watch a lot of races at Ellis Park this year, but every time I watched, everybody was going wire to wire. So maybe this horse is just not all that. So I'd maybe try to beat both the 1 and the 2. I'd probably, I don't know.
Let me say another thing. Let me give you another thing to think about with this 3 horse Inventing. Okay, look, obviously the horse went to Woodbine for whatever reason, from Pletcher to Attard, went to Woodbine, and so naturally the horse was going to run on synthetic, right? I mean, that's the surface. Maybe could have run on turf, but didn't. And look, the horse tried, but just didn't run. Well, look at the GSRs, 54s, 55, 58. Back on the dirt, and look at the GSR increase.
Right,
mean,
and back now to Stidham, who was a good trade.
now back with Stidham, back in the States, gets off the damn synthetic. This horse wanted synthetic, like I want a hole in the head. It didn't want synthetic. That was an amazing workout right there. Stidham, this horse is going to run a really good race, I think. I really do think we're expecting a good race.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the layoff, but this horse did win at Keeneland in the past. Now, it wasn't off a layoff, but it's really, if you look at it, that's the 3 is the only horse in this race that has a win over the track. And granted, it was 2 years ago, but it shows, I mean, affinity for the track. I am concerned a little bit about that long layoff, but I think I'm going to take the plunge, and I'm going to use this 3 along with the 5 to try.
First of all, first race back, Stidham is 21%. That's really creditable. 1 and 2, based on what we just saw in that drill, I don't think I'm going to be too worried about it. That was a very powerful looking horse.
Yeah, no, I was impressed. Yeah, that looked good to me.
Yeah,
that's good enough for me, Scotty. Yep.
Yeah, it was nice. I'm all over this 3 actually. I'm glad we watched that drill. That just kind of enforced, for me, it definitely helped me. Let's see here. We've got let's just take a detour real quick to Woodbine race number 3, where we've got plenty of time. They're about 1-2 minutes from post time. We have 2 horses to watch. The 9 could have the lead. Speed is dangerous here at this track, as you know. So it's gonna, this horse could send. Look at the win percentages. They're wide open. When you see wide open win percentages like that, look for price horses. Like the 9 horse is 9-2 right now. Very interesting to me. But the 5 horse is also a horse to watch, and it's 23% to win. The race simulator has this horse doing well, but I'm gonna run here. The 9 horse could definitely have the lead, but there's gonna be some horses on the inside they're gonna send. Look at the 3 horse going up in GSR, David. They're going from a 53 to a 64, and is on the stretch out. This is a very interesting horse here. The 3 horse at 5-1 right now, Whiskey Row. I like the saving ground. I really do. The 9 is going to have to use up a little bit from the outside. And how about look at the 7 horse. The race simulator has this horse second, and this 7 horse might be a player in this race. Interesting horse, awesome entry. I also like the 1 horse on the inside. This 1 horse could be sneaky. I'm going to actually play a 1, 3, 5 exacta box. Although I'm a little concerned about this 7 horse running a much better race here, but I think it might be a little bit better on the turf than it is a synthetic. So I'm going to do a.
All right. What are you on, Scotty? 135?
135 as they're going into the gate.
Okay. And I'm all over the 9, tax included, wire to wire.
Okay.
So we'll see
Great
how
Canadian Daddy to gate number 6.
I think Ross Woodbine, stay away.
Followed in by Awesome Entry.
We like Woodbine. They let us show the races live.
Exactly.
And actually, I've been up to Woodbine for a contest. It's a really nice venue. So if you ever get a chance, you're going north. Included. It's a nice little track, nice big track, nice little track. Casino there, hotel now.
Comes to the gate.
135 for Scotty. For me, it's the 9 wire to wire. All right, good luck, everybody, if you're in.
On their way to a terrific start, and one of the best into stride at the center.
5 guys
coming through for the lead is Whiskey Row. Snook at the inside, and pushing up is Awesome Entry to go through in between runners. The track is tax included. Awesome Entry shows the way. Mendoza has a nice spot coming forward towards the pace as they turn at the back of affairs. Perfect play on the inside. And in the center, Trinity Park, the outer Canadian Daddy. Awesome Entry has raced out in front and shows the way by over a length to in second, tax included. Shading Whiskey Rose, settling with the box seat. One away, Ethnic Soul on the
I
inside.
said this
Snookered.
seven's no
Caught a bit
joke.
wide though.
It's the
Madassa
EquinEdge
is
second
3
pick.
wide
Got an
behind the
easy lead
main
without
pack,
it
and
being
next
asked.
to last on the inside is Trinity Park behind Canadian Daddy, and on the rails last is
You're not
Perfect
going that
Play.
fast, Scotty.
Leaving them
No,
alone early is
24-3.
Awesome Entry, getting his own way out in front by 2.5 lengths to Whiskey Road, nudging up into second with tax included. A wide trip here for Madassa. In between
Look at the
runners,
nine.
remaining
Nine's already
Candy
being
Ethnic
asked
Soul
big
on the
time.
inside.
Nine's
Snookered
toast.
at the back of affairs remains Canadian Daddy, Trinity Park, and Perfect Play. Still out in front, Awesome Entry, but now Whiskey Row emerging off the inside and has travelled the best. Whiskey Row ranges up for the lead, and as they go inside, the 3/8 has gone up and joined Awesome Entry, and they're 2 in front of Snookered. And now
The
going
9
to
is
the front
done. 9
narrowly
didn't
is
get the lead.
Whiskey
He's
Row.
done.
Coming home fairly, tax included. Around the outside, Canadian Daddy, Trinity Park's in the clear. Ethnic Soul boxing on
Come
the
on,
inside.
Five, get
Perfect
up.
Play. Madassa's
4-1
last.
per second.
Turning,
Come on.
Look at
fighting
this,
back.
the
Awesome
2.
Entry.
22
Whiskey
to
Row
1
just in
rallying.
front. Snookered is there if good
Come on,
enough.
one.
3
Get up
wide.
a
Ethnic
second. Let's
Soul
go.
coming up on the
Get up on
inside.
that rail.
And also making a run. Perfect Play. They're coming through well.
Wow,
A
look
line
at
of
this.
about
They're
5.
flying.
And on the
Look at
outside,
this one.
Snooked's
Oh,
gone to the front from
one
Ethnic
had
Soul.
really had a nice
Snookered and
big
Ethnic Soul
long
go
shot.
on.
Look at this.
Snookered the leader on the outside.
I got
Snookered
a good
narrowly.
run for my
And
money,
as they
though.
go to the wire, has
Look
gone
at
on to
that.
win.
One
Snookered
got
by a
third,
neck.
big long
Ethnic
shot.
Soul
That's
second.
boom,
2.5
boom,
away.
22
Perfect Play.
to
And then
1.
Whiskey Row and
With
Awesome
the
Entry.
victory.
All right, let's take a look.
Snookered, who's 1 for 35 lifetime. And I think I told you this story before. I've been at the Saratoga with friends who don't go to the track too often. And they asked me, it's like, why won't you like that 6 horse? I go, Steve, he's 1 for 30. And then they bet him. And he looks at me after the race and he goes, Dave, now he's 2 for 31. And I just cashed. I'm like, okay.
You know what though? I've been studying a lot lately on trip horses. I was bringing it up in the coaching class yesterday, and you really have to look at these horses, especially ones that are favorites in these outside posts. Look, the 8 didn't run, the 9 didn't run. Let's think about this 8, who is the favorite right now. First of all, it's 81% chance of losing at 19%. Okay, this is just a teaching moment for them all. Look at the first call. This horse is projected to be seriously wide. That horse did not run a lick. Right. And even in the second call, look at this. This is now around this first turn. How's this horse supposed to do it? Because based on the horse's style, this is what's going to happen. So it's going to get carried wide. 9 broke a little bit slow, rushed up from that outside post, and it cost the horse, and the horse had nothing late. And these horses take up 39% of the win percentages because the win percentages do not analyze the trip of a horse or the pace. So you could easily get rid of those and then run the race and see what happens here. And the 5 broke last. So that cost the 5. 7 broke really good, had the lead and just didn't run. But if you were to throw the 5 and the 7 out, now that's what you're looking at for the race. I mean, it's just wide open. But that's the way you should run the simulator. That's how you use a simulator right there. All right, we'll take another detour here real quickly, and we're gonna, because I love these turf races going 9 furlongs.
Yep.
Listen, it's a short stretch here on these races. Now there is some room to get over here because you can see the starting position here down the first turn. But so we'll go here at the first call. Now the 10 is going to be able to get over, no question. But the 2, 3, and 4 are fast, and they're going to take advantage of their positions, right? And then you go to the second call here, and the 10's got the lead. But I'd argue with you that the 10 horse might have to get used up. It usually stops anyways, so I don't know that the 10's a real contender.
Yeah, let me take a look here. The 2 horses, we got a 11-year-old bulldog. Yeah, let me just look at the odds. I'm always looking at the odds to see who may be a value. And always going to look first at Graham Motion's horses down when I'm handicapping Laurel, right? So he's got the 3 and the 4. Jay Hirsch, I know Jay Hirsch raced at Saratoga and at Aqueduct too. So let me see how he looks.
And here's the thing too. 2's the favorite right now, right? And it looks like this 2 needs the lead.
Yes.
What if 10 presses this horse? Like this 10's going to need the lead. So the 10's going to press. So you could see them dueling. So let's just say that the system has the 2 winning the race, but let's just say you get rid of this horse. Now look at this thing. Look at this thing. Like, that's the way I want to play it. And so I'm looking at the 8-horse or even the 3-horse Contempt. Right? That's what I'm seeing. And the 4-horse obviously is right there as well at 17%. Jay Hirsch certainly looks like a player as well. But and the 8-horse is closing. I'm going to try to beat these outside horses. I think they'll close up for the money. But as far as the win contention goes, it looks like 2, 3, 4, 5 or 3, 4, 5, 8 to me.
Yeah, I think if I was going to play the race, I would play the 4, Jay Hirsch. This horse, I think, has a class edge on these. Broke his maiden at Aqueduct and racing Saratoga. Delaware Park race, I don't know what happened last time out. That was a bad race. So maybe the horse is off form. But, yeah, I still think
I like a horse like the 3-horse because it's second time on going the 9 furlongs on the turf. It's going to save ground on the inside. This horse seems to have some tactical speed. I like Carrasco jumping aboard. Not going to be surprised that the 3-horse runs a really good race at 10-1.
The other Graham horse.
5's dead on the board. It really is dead on the board. It just broke its maiden. Jay Hirsch is going to most likely run a very good race as well. I think I would try to beat the 5-horse, and the 8-horse is only 4% to win, but this horse is closing. There's no question this horse is going to be closing in this race. So if I, just looking at this for me, 3, 4, 8 exacta box.
Okay. With me, I am going with the 4, Jay Hirsch, and I would use an exacta box with the 11, Union Bulldog. Don't worry about the post too much. The horse doesn't need the lead and is going to hopefully Russell will get him in a good position out of the gate and get a little more over to the rail. We'll see. So 4-11 for me, I would go with here.
4-11 for
Sheldon Russell. 42%, 29% jockey at the meet. And so 4-11.
All right. Let's watch. Good luck, everybody. What's up, Dan? Dan, you have 4 runs at Saratoga, race 2 back. I agree, Dan. Big shout out to my team as well, David. Big shout out to Brad and Ryan and Malcolm, Ramey, Riley, Amy, Anna. An amazing job that the team is doing.
Memories.
Absolutely. Everybody is just what a great team you've got. Everybody is so it's great to work with you guys.
They're so like I don't know, just everybody's like-minded on the same page and motivated. Contempt. Big shout out to and also ran to Kathy. Kathy actually is the lead developer for my metals company, Universal. And she's awesome. Yeah. And she also helps the team as well. So I got to give her a shout out as well.
Right.
We have such a great team. Wait till you see some of the stuff, David, that's coming at EquinEdge next year. It's going to be a really big 2025 for all of us.
Looking forward to it, my friend. Looking forward to it.
Lined up and ready for the pick 5.
All right. Let them go. Let them loose.
And they're off. American Memories.
So we knew the 2 was going to have the lead. I'm hoping the 10 sends.
Omni King on the inside there.
Look at the 10 is ranked. The jockey's making a mistake trying to rate.
Yeah, he's trying to rate.
Tucked in on the inside in the early stages.
And that horse is 3-1. Look at you can clearly see that 10 wants no part of rating.
Being rated. Yep, he wants to go.
Next tap. After that,
and the 3-horse wasn't even asked to be sitting there next to the 2.
And Hard Traveler on the inside.
And you can also see the way
13
the
lengths
two's
will cover
running.
them
The
now
head's
front to
up,
back.
right? So that is a horse
American
that needs the
Memories
lead,
trying to
but
keep that pressure on
that
early
two
is
can win this
Contempt on the
race now
outside.
because the 10
American
didn't do its
Memories
job.
half
That
in
hurts a
front
little bit.
from
Yep,
the
they let the two get to an
on
easy
the
lead.
outside in
Yeah.
the second
Even though it's
spot
rather
as they
23 and
turning on 5.5
change, 23 and
furlongs left to
2,
go.
so
Down
it's
on the
pretty
Pretty
good.
inside,
bad. It's pretty
Jay
easy.
Hirsch getting a cozy journey from third position.
Four's getting a great
Omni
trip.
King and the
Four's-
Substitute Silks there on the outside.
Four's getting the
Another
best
three,
trip.
and it's Union Bulldog racing in fifth. Whiskey the Gyro is next, heading off of the far turn run. One bite is in between horses. Prime to go. Then Shot Tap racing to the back. Star Lifter and Hard Traveler into the far turn they roll. American Memories getting continuous heat from Contempt. Omni King looming large while three wide. Jay Hirsch down
Come
to
on,
the rail
three.
as they round midway on that turn. Next is Union Bulldog.
But what do I know?
Whiskey on
He's
the
got the
Gyro,
10
saving
around
ground
that
as they
turn,
enter the stretch.
running for
Yeah,
fun.
right.
Turn for home, and it's Omni King trying to push on by American Memories. It's another three back. Jay Hirsch is in third. Whiskey in the Jar on for Sharon between horses for a long left to run. Omni King, Jay Hirsch firing up a rally on
You're
the
not gonna get
outside.
him.
Omni King, Jay Hirsch.
I
Whiskey
honestly
in the
didn't think the
Jaro
10 could do
fires
that.
late on the
Nice-
scene.
nice job by
It
the
is
jockey.
Omni King from Jay Hirsch. Whiskey in
He
the
knew
Jaro and
something that
American
I still didn't
Memories.
know.
Omni King.
All
Yeah,
right.
if you look at the profile of this horse, Scotty, Omni King, looks like if this horse doesn't get the lead, this horse is not winning. That was not the case in this race.
No, look, you can see that. I couldn't have seen that. You know, the only thing I can make of this is what I make of this. If you look, the last four races were against 60, 60, 60, and 62 respectively. SOR.
good point.
Today was a 50. That's the only thing I can make of it.
Great
Nice
point.
going, Rob.
Mhm.
Yeah. The horse was dropping big time down in class. Yeah. Okay. Keeneland. We got race number 4 coming up here. 2 minutes to that. I'll run the race real quickly. It's a 5-horse field. We didn't handicap this race either.
Hey, we started to. I would have single trust Daddy the 9.
That's right. You kind of like the 9. This race looks so wide open. For my liking, I like the 6 the least because of how far back it is, but man, it's going to be closing. And you're going to see here at the finish, like it's just a wide open race. I don't know. I mean, if you're forced to making a pick, you'd choose Trust Daddy.
Yes. And I'm just putting in an exacta box for entertainment purposes only. 1-9.
1-9.
I think Luna Module is running pretty good. Yeah.
Well, here's what I do like about the 1 is the 1 went on the turf last time out, and the win percentage went higher, but unfortunately, you can see the GSR dropped a lot, right? So, and it still only lost by 3. Breaking 8th, it still lost only by under 4 lengths. And now it goes back up to 62. That's 18 points back on the dirt. Second off the layoff. I agree. I think this 1 horse might run a really good race. Your favorite jockey, Florent Giroux, is aboard, though.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, listen, sometimes the horse, I don't have a problem with Florent, actually. They're just showing on a network here, the crowd at Keeneland today. What a beautiful day. And it's packed. The track apron is packed wall to wall. These guys should be having a blast out there. It looks like a perfect day.
I'm actually thinking that this 1 horse might be the horse to beat here. You're getting 4-1.
Yeah, 4. That's why. When I saw that price, I'm like, I'll throw it in the exacta with the 9.
Well, the 9, the 1's going to be my key horse. I'm going to do a win bet on the 1. I'm doing a trifecta with the 1 in the second spot. So 3, 6, 7, 9 with 3, 6, 7, 9 with so 3, 6, 7, 9. So I'm going to put the 1 in the first spot and the second spot.
Okay. All right. They are, I guess, loading in the gate as we speak, or getting there. Right behind the gate.
And they're off.
1 stumbled.
Oh, I'm behind.
Trust Daddy comes out for the lead from the far outside, goes right to the front, already opens up a couple of lengths by the time they hit the backstretch. In fact, Trust Daddy now will angle down, plenty of room to get clear and move down to the rail. Trust Daddy leads it by a length and a half. And here's Soaring Bird, moves up now closer to the leader in that second position. The gap of 2 lengths back to Lunar Module to the inside, Cathedral Beach, who's there on the outside, and Copper Master is last.
So Rob, I agree with that. I love horses cutting back in distance. They do very well.
Yep, cutbacks to 7. Yep.
Turn Trust Daddy the leader. Trust Daddy leading Soaring Bird a length and a half, followed by Lunar Module toward the inside, still running just over 3 lengths off the lead.
If you look at the 6 horse, David, that's why you don't want to take horses to close.
I mean, is last
not that the horse can't be in the money,
single
but
file around the far turn.
You have so
and
much
Trust Daddy is still in front, still chased by Soaring Bird, and still 2 lengths.
Yeah.
Gap of 4. Now 5 more lengths back to Cathedral Beach.
I don't know
to
that
the outside of
gonna
Lunar
catch
Module.
this 9.
Copper Master is last.
Seven's
Trust Daddy,
running
the
good,
leader
though.
into the stretch. Soaring
Women's running very well.
2.5 legs separate the top 2, just over 1/8 of a mile to go. Trust Daddy, the leader. Trust Daddy has been chased all the way by Soaring Bird, but still maintains a 3-length lead, moving by the 16th pole. Then Cathedral Beach in third, and Trust Daddy.
One distracted in.
Trust Daddy,
the
Tyler
one stumbled to
Gaffalione,
start.
Trust
I don't know
Daddy,
that was
a
the only
front
reason.
running victory.
Three's gonna get
Cathedral
second.
Beach
9,
is running
3,
on from
7,
the
6.
outside and gets up
But you
for
can see the
second
6 was closing,
over Soaring
but
Bird.
you don't
and
close
Copper
from that
Master.
far back.
Right.
You just don't. But 9 horse, Trust Daddy wins the race. Good call on that.
Nice. Yeah, that would have been my single. Again, you got 8 to 5, and I think based on a small field, 8 to 5 is not a bad price.
No.
And
No,
so
all right.
I'm alive now to 3 horses in the next race and a double. So that works for me. All right, good.
Okay, let's get back to the qualifier. The 9th race was the grade 3 race. We were talking about that. You're going with Tawny Port. I'm going with the 3 horse. Okay.
Yes.
So we don't need to cover that anymore. So, all right. And then the next one we have to cover, we'll do Keeneland race number 10.
Keeneland race number 10.
Race
Get
number
the
10.
simulator going. We've got a maiden $50,000 purse for 7 furlongs. Maiden fillies and mares. Another wide open race.
That was, okay, 7/8 again.
Now let me pull up my screen here.
James was happy with that 9 horse winning.
That works for me also. Good call. Good one. So Keeneland 10th race.
Look at the closers. I mean, look at all these double blues. You got the 5 horse.
Yeah, here they come. Right. Yep.
You know, and the 1 horse is saving ground at the rail. And the 1 horse is fast, but, you know, that's interesting that it has the horse closing. 8 horse the first time starter. Doesn't look likely. Is there anybody else we can eliminate there? Let's see. First call. 5 is, okay, so the 5 is far back. Classic mystery. That's not usually the prototypical way to win these races. It's also moving up in class. Let's see if there's any changes we can see. Again, we should look for cutback horses as well. Nothing really to speak of here. I like to, find these 8 furlong races, horses showing speed. And cut back. Nothing wrong with this 3 horse who's 4-1. This horse was only 4% to win. It broke 10th. It made a move and it checked. I mean, wow, the EquinEdge long shot looks like could be a player in here, huh?
The 3 effervescent. Yeah, I mean, obviously off that opening race where this horse just got off slow and was flying, is absolutely a contender. But the more I started going through this race, Scotty, there's a horse that just stuck out to me that I am definitely going to match up with Tawny Port for a nice size double.
Okay.
And it won't be for entertainment purposes. So, I'm pretty high on a horse. And the horse that I am just really, really, I don't want to just toot this horse, the horn too well for this horse, because I think this horse is going to take money. And that's the 7 Captive Heart. Now, this horse was entered in her first race, September 21st at Churchill. and this is a maiden special weight race, and the horse was off slow. Okay. And so really kind of eliminated any chance. And it was a very contested pace. But even that being said, I remember, if I recall correctly, and don't quote me on this, it might have been, I noticed Churchill was speed favoring that last meet, but I think you had to be close to the pace. This horse at the break got eliminated at any chance. So you could throw that race totally out. And look at the workout on September 17th. All right. This horse went 4 furlongs and 47 and change. That's only 4 days before the race that this horse was entered in. Yeah. So this horse was sitting on a big race, went off at 13-1, and just got totally eliminated at the start. The follow-up workout to me was good. A gate breeze, 5 in 1 minute and 3. I don't know if that's a 2-star work, but I see a couple of 3-star works.
You don't worry about that. A lot of times when they're just breezing before their race, you know, and I wondered why there was a gate drill there. But the reason they did the gate drill, obviously, is because the horse broke 11 at his first start. Yeah. So yeah.
So that I really noticed that stuck out at me. And Wayne Catalano obviously is a good trainer. You know, I don't have to toot his horn. No. And then you got Ortiz picking up the mount. So it's a big jockey change here. You went from that was Apprentice to a bug to Jose Ortiz. Horse, it's a drop down from maiden special, a slight drop down to 50, and stretching out to 7. There's a Malibu Moon who's out of APND, should have no problem with the distance. And if I get 10-1 on this horse, I'd be taking it to the bank. I don't think we'll get 10-1, be less than that. So to me, it's all. I don't want any other horse in here. To me, it's all the 7 Captive Heart.
All right, so I'm going to just start eliminating horses. I think all these outside horses, if I look at the first call, like they're going to be flying. I think the 10's going to fly to the lead. The 11 is going to carry the 13 wide. The 1's going to be near the lead. So this is just my own handicapping, so I can stay focused on the horses I think are contenders. And then I think the 6 is most likely going to back up. It's moving way up in class. And so it really, for me, it ends up being these horses. If I'm right about my handicapping, you can handicap pretty fast using the simulator. You just can't be wrong. And so then when I'm looking at a horse with all this speed, like the 5 horse, we showed that 5 horse closing, but the 5 and 9 may be a little bit wide and too far back. And even though the 5 is closing. So for me, I really like your 7, but I'm going to go with the 3 horse. The 3 horse broke super slow. Comes back. Blair is 10% with first-time starters. Second-time starters, 0 for 32. Wow. Oh, that I'm seeing for the first time. I didn't like that at all. But nonetheless, it's not going to sway me. I think this horse will save ground from the inside. There's a lot of speed in here. I put a real big precedence on saving ground. And as long as this horse gets a decent trip and breaks good, and it didn't break good last time out, 9:14 going into the race. But I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to stick with this pick. So
okay, so Scotty's on the 3. The only other horse I wanted to point out is that this. I was almost tempted to use this horse, and again, it depends on how my day is going, but I may throw this horse into my late pick 5 and pick 6. Is the 6 Bah Humbug? I mean This horse has been only on the turf, right? And hasn't really, the first 2 races, just look at the posts, 12 posts in the first race, 10 posts in the second race at Kentucky Downs, going a mile at 83. You mean those are hopeless posts. And then went down to Hawthorne, or went up to Hawthorne, 7.5 furlongs, and showed a little speed at a slow pace. And again, now drops down to 50. First time on dirt, 7 furlongs, twirling candy. It wouldn't shock me to see this horse run pretty decently. So I think that horse could make it into the exotics triple or exactus. So I'd be using the 6 somewhere just on a lark, just thinking first time dirt, that maybe this horse was not really looking for turf. And again, I'm usually the opposite. First time turf, but I'm going to try a little first time dirt. I think I don't love it, but I'm going to use it somewhere.
I think you're spot on. The great handicapping there. either way, you're right. I mean, the GSR also goes up. This horse has not had great trips. I think this horse is had some issues here as well, going on the dirt where it belongs. But look at the jockey trainer combination on the 6. It's tremendous. 25%.
Right. You get Louis Saez picking up the bounce. So
yeah,
no, you could get worse jocks picking up a 12-1 morning line shot. So I think on Captive Heart, I don't think we'll get 10-1, and on Bah Humbug, I think you'll get more than 12-1.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so you're going with the 7. I'm going with the 3. 6 is definitely a big player. I'm gonna stick with the 3 horse, and hopefully the Connections can get their first win. Not something I normally do, but all right. So we only have really 3 more races to go. That's Santa Anita 4, 5, and 6. So let's see here. That's the 7th event. So Santa Anita race number 4. Let's look at that.
Let me just make sure, Scotty. Just want to make sure I have my picks in for the qualifier. Just want to make sure.
Oh, when's Keeneland? Keeneland race number 5 is in 20 minutes. So yeah, we got to get those 4 races. There's 3 races going.
Yes. Okay. So Keeneland, here we go. So I'll let you start off with the simulator. We got so I did
race number 4.
Races. Yep.
And then we've got 20 minutes to do these 3 races at Santa Anita. I'll be right back.
Sure. So race number 4 at Santa Anita, we have a 1 1/8 race on the turf course for non-winners of 2 lifetime, a $25,000 claimer. So the first question I always ask when I look at these races is 1 1/8 is who wants to go the distance? To me, a lot of these 1 1/8 races, there are horses who just don't want to go that far, and I think that may be the case with the 2 Pete's Old Fashioned. This horse has been only sprinting strictly in his career. So, I mean, this horse going 1 1/8 should have either be on the lead or close to the pace, you would think. And then you also have, let me see who else I think we can eliminate. Circle of Champions doesn't really strike me as a distance horse, and this horse is 1 for 21, so that's a horse, the 5 I would most likely throw out. Bert's Prospect I thought was an interesting contender here, but when I look at its 9 races, they're all mile races on the turf. Maybe there's a reason why this horse never went more than a mile. It's probably the trainer, Sean McCarthy, probably believes his horse is just a miler. So horse normally I would fade a bit. Phil D'Amato's horse, Sabelgato, is a definite contender. Looks like the profile of a 1 1/8 horse. However, 0 for 4, not even hit the board at Santa Anita, does drop down from 50 to 25. You got a bit of a layoff from June, but my concern is this horse absolutely has no speed whatsoever. So it's another horse I would probably fade a bit. So the horses that I'm looking at here, well, the one horse I was looking at was the 7 Night Out, More Than Ready, one of my favorite turf sires. And if you look at this horse, was racing at Delaware Park, Fairgrounds, and then Laurel. Had a 1 1/8 try at Laurel, and that was not an awful race. That horse was bumped at the start and kind of eliminated, but just basically ran around the track evenly, it looks like. So then you have the layoff since that race, moves from Stidham to Phil D'Amato, and Churchill. That was a tough race. So I didn't anticipate that horse running so well, but pinch start. So this horse got totally compromised in the start of that race. Then ships out to Del Mar, an $80,000 optional claimer. Just basically ran around the track, not too impressive. And now drops down to 25, has a good workout on October 5th. And this is for Little Red Feather, Phil D'Amato. And with the drop down, I think the 7 is the horse for me, Night Out. So I was on Night Out. And I guess process of elimination, I'd use McCarthy's horse, even though it looks like a miler, as a second pick. So it would be 7-6 for me, but 7 in the contest, 6 on the second ticket.
All right, so horse to watch as well. There's a look at it. and Hernandez aboard for Phil Diamato. And there's plenty of room to get over. The 9-horse certainly at 6-1, 13%. EquinEdge long shot certainly has a look. Probably have to be used. The 3-horse size does matter. This horse has just burned too much money. Not really the best breaker in the world. I think everything has to go perfect for that 3-horse to win. So I'm going to eliminate that horse. Then this Gladio, this horse is Yep. This is an interesting horse off the layoff as well. Rispoli jumps aboard. It's a big drop in class from a 60 down to a 50 on the SOR. Workouts look okay to me. Diamato is probably 18% with off layoff horses. It's the EquinEdge second pick. It's only won a maiden race, but it's been facing better horses. That's an interesting horse, definitely, and it's going to save some ground. It gets a really good trip. But I don't know that you want to take a risk at 5-2, David. I don't know. We need to have a strategy here as well. Night Out, 32%. I mean, this horse is obviously dropping in class as well, but it really didn't run against some of those other horses. Diamato's got a couple of horses here that are dropping in class off of layoffs. He's 22% with 134 samples with Hernandez, and with Rispoli 17% with 87 samples. So it's interesting that the EE morning line has the 4-horse at 5-2 morning line compared to 7-2 on the 7.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, please go ahead.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. And again, you got that layoff with the drop down. But what I pointed out before is that the 4-horse has absolutely no speed. Now, I know the 7 doesn't look to have much more speed, but I think the 7 may be able to be a little closer to the pace based on some of his prior races. And I do like the drop down on the 7, dropping from an 80 claimer, and just a little bit of a brief freshening. And I pointed out before, the race at 1 1/8 this is a 1 1/8 race. The race at Laurel wasn't bad. I mean, just basically plugged along for 4th, but bump start. So I think this horse is more suited, maybe more suited to a 1 1/8 than some of the others here. That's a tricky race.
This is not an easy race. And you could go taking favorites here and a big long shot wins and you're screwed. I personally don't like the 1-horse, but it's broke terrible in the first couple of races. It dropped in class last time out and it ran much better, only losing by 5 lengths. I actually can't eliminate this horse, to be honest with you. I think that's how tough this race is. Now, the jockey winning this race, probably not likely, does get 114 pounds though. I mean, this is going to light up the board if the 1 wins. But in a race like this, though, Ross, I think that you would take a price horse most likely. Wow. I mean, we don't have a lot of time. In fact, we have no time to be messing with this race. I'm not going to give a play for this just yet. Let's go to race number 5.
Okay, yeah, race number 5. I think we can really say it looks like on paper a 2-horse race between Auditory, the 5, and the 7. Girl can't help it. I mean, you got horses. The 7, the last 2 races ran a 2nd at the same condition. Basically, is a closer. Auditory is a closer too, so that would concern me. That's a big drop down from 62.5 to 20. It doesn't have to be much to win this race. And I thought I'm not big on Stormy Gal, but I thought the 3rd contender here was the 2 Pancho Barnes, and I think once this horse dropped down from a maiden special to a 20, again, we see a lot of trouble lines today. This horse we got another trouble line, bump start. So to me, I don't worry about how bad that race looks. The horse was eliminated at the start. I think the 2nd race going for maiden 20, it may be the spot here. So I'm going to take a shot with a little bit of a price, Pancho Barnes. Obviously, the 2 other horses that you would use are the 5 and the 6. So I'm taking a little bit of risk with the 2. So, Scotty, I just mentioned I'm on the 2 Pancho Barnes.
Yeah, I'm really surprised to hear you say that because the jockey is 0%. The The horse causes its own problems constantly. I'm really surprised it's 9-2. That's probably because of Phil D'Amato. I mean, the race simulator only has the horse losing by three lengths, so I can't say that the horse can't run good. You can see the starting position here. It doesn't. I mean, the 7 horse is 8-5. 8 horse could get carried out wide, so I'm not really a fan of the 8. The 8's stopping. The 6 horse is 1%, 50-1 EE morning line. I'm just doing a process of elimination in what appears to be a tough race. It doesn't look like the 4 is a player as well. So we're looking at 1, 2, 5, 7. So now what I want to do is I have to look at the 7 horse to see if it's all that. Look, it burned money last time out, but I don't even know that I want to call that burning money, David, because it was only 18% to win. Today it's 42%. But look, it was 28% here in its second lifetime race, and it got third. It obviously was against tougher. And, you know, here's the main reason why I don't necessarily love the 7. Look at what a poor breaker this horse is.
Another poor breaker. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
almost every race. It's just
last.
Uncanny. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's first or second last. Like, it's crazy. Like, is that really a horse that you want to key? I don't think so. Like, I mean, you know what I mean?
No, I hear you.
So,
well, if you look at the 5 also, the 5 and 2 starts back, bump start. And then the turf race, mile and the 16th, September 5th, this horse was bumped around at the start. So, I mean, they all have trouble lines. Crazy.
I like the fact that the 5 horse is getting back to dirt. It's not a turf horse. I like that. And it's shown that it can break good. It broke good in its first start. It stumbled in its second start. I don't think it really loved the turf in its third start. I like the 5. I actually like the 5. I think that's a good play. Yeah. Yeah,
the 5, like I said, I thought that it was a 2-horse race and possibly a 3-horse race. It's the 5 or the 7 of the logical horses, right? That's a huge drop down for the 5. But yeah, I just and again, this is a weak field, so I just thought I'd be looking for a little bit of value with the 2 Poncho Barnes.
All right, I'm taking Auditoria. You're taking Poncho Barnes, okay. So then we have one more race number 6. Keeneland, you got 9 minutes to get your plays in. Let me start this again. Let's go here. Okay, so 6 furlongs on the turf. These are fillies and mares 3 and up, optional claiming, non-winners of 1. And looks like there's some speed in here. What do you think, David?
Yeah, let me just pull up my notes here. For some reason, my screens look slow again. I can't get off the 5th race. Okay, so we're looking at the 6th race. Yeah, this was a little more challenging race for me. And I got my pick in, and I have the 2 horse, but I can't get to my screen. Let me try to get to my EE screen. I know we only have a few minutes, so just bear with me. They're just coming onto the track. So, okay. Yeah, so I looked at the pace here. We've got No Cap with a 74 EE pace metric, and then Clubhouse Ride 72, and then Diamond 66. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty contentious pace. And I was back all over the place with this race when I was handicapping it last night. And I just think you could go so deep here. So to me, this was almost like a guessing game. I looked at No Cap, and I think that's eventually where I was settling in on. And this horse, it just looked as good as a lot of the contenders here. And
it's dropping a lot, though. It's dropping 17 points in GSR.
Yeah. This is a turf race, so this is first time turf for this horse. And that concerned me also. But I mean,
it only loses. I'm not trying to take you off of it. I was just making a point that it is dropping big in GSR. But a lot of times in these sprint turf races, the GSR has not proven as important if you have speed.
Right. Yeah, I am concerned with the amount of speed on a 3 also. But So the bottom line is I looked at everybody. I think that the 5 is absolutely a horse you have to use, but do I want 7 to 5? I'm not sure. So and Proof She Zips with the outside post. This horse will be in a good position stalking. I thought that was a big contender for Mike McCarthy. So I just thought maybe from the inside post, the 2 could get the jump on these and wire the field. So that's what I would use 2 and then 5 as my second pick here. But I really didn't have a solid opinion in this race, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to make something, get a decent price out of this race. So it would be 2-5 for me.
So to me, the 6 horse, Ms. Club Cali, this is a very interesting horse with Barrios. I like Barrios coming on with horses coming from behind. And this horse has some tactical speed. It's run very well on the turf, but going longer, a mile. It has gone 6 furlongs before. It got a second place finish, but got disqualified. It was only 8% that day. This horse was racing over at Los Alamitos. It's dropping a little bit in win percentage, but in a race like this, I don't necessarily know that the 5 is going to get the best trip. It's probably the horse to beat. It rated last time out while breaking bad. JJ Hernandez jumps aboard. The 5 is the horse to beat, no doubt about it. There's no question. Garcia is 13% second off the layoff and 0% first off the layoff. So his horse almost won that race while breaking bad from the rail. Clearly, this horse was live. There's really not much in here, to be honest with you. So,
yeah.
I imagine this 5 is going to be super, super tough to beat. But do we want to take a horse that's going to be 7 to 5 when maybe a horse like the 6 is the EquinEdge second pick, and it's not that bad? I think I have to take a risk on the 6, David. I'm going to go with the 6 horse, 6-5.
Okay, so we're both going a little bit of a price here. So 6-5 for Scotty. All right, so we're going to the last leg of the qualifier, which is race number 6.
That was
at the Great Race Place.
Okay, so
hold on a second.
That was it. That was the last one.
Oh, what did we do? Did we do the 5th race?
We did.
Yes.
Yep. We did the 5th race. There's 4 minutes to Keeneland, by the way.
Okay. Good.
You had the 2 horse, Poncho Barnes.
Yeah. However, I apologize. I had the wrong pick in it because my screen froze up. I had the wrong pick. I like in the 6th race at San Anita, I used the 8 on top. Proof She Zips with the 2 no cap as my second pick. So I'm on Proof She Zips.
Okay. So race number 6, you're on the 8 horse, 8-2.
Yeah, okay. I apologize. Yeah. I was wondering why. I thought there was one more race. So I'm like, no, that can't be.
By the way, I think the 8 horse is a good play too. The 8's going to get a perfect trip from the outside if it's good enough. Absolutely. I didn't like that it was dropping. I mean, it was 25%, 28, 23, and 40, and still was burning money. And now it's dropping in win percentage. So that's the reason why I was personally playing against the 8. But I think the 8's a good pick. It's a good long shot play. I still haven't made a choice in the 4th race. I need your help. Let me see. Make sure we're not going to miss this race. We've got 3 minutes before this race.
Yeah, this is really wide open. I want to mention, did you like the 3 horse at all? I thought the 3 was under.
It doesn't get the pulse going, it's not that it can't win, but I think in a race like this, these favorites seem vulnerable. The 4 seems vulnerable to me as well. Like I think you have to take a price. In fact, I think the only way I'm going to be able to clear this up is by going like this and then seeing what happens and then take the price. So I don't think this 8 is necessarily a bad horse, honestly. But your 7 looks really good. It's 32%. What about this 9 horse? I get thrown off by these horses just a little bit, David, because to me, this horse seems to need the lead for its best. But it doesn't seem like an impossibility to win, does it? No.
I spent a long time looking at that horse. Yeah, and I was intrigued for a bit.
6-1. It's 6-1 on the EE morning line. These are the horses that you're looking for. The 5 horse, Circle of Champions. Here's another one. Like,
Yeah,
it's
contender.
been hovering around at this class level, of 50 and not really getting it done. But man, it ran huge last time out over at Del Mar off the layoff for Carla Gaines. Maybe they've got this. Maybe she's got this horse running good right now.
Yeah, definite contender.
But 1 win in 21 races.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's not the winning profile. But we just see a horse earlier today, 1 for 31, who just had one.
Yeah,
that was a tough horse to come up with. Real tough.
And then the other thing is maybe we're not gonna. I don't like this 822 race because the 5 and 6 both come out of that race, and they were both right there. I mean, they don't look all that great. So maybe playing away from that race. 7 Night Out. Like, I don't know why I'm trying to beat this horse, but there's just something about this horse I don't necessarily love. But I mean, I know you like this horse a lot. Let's make sure that I have. You've got only about 2 minutes before this race at Keeneland, you guys, and make sure you have all your horses, your plays in for the qualifier. That's almost
Yes.
done. I might take a crazy flyer here, but it's coming out of that same 822 race.
Right. But I just, while you're looking at that race, I just wanted to point something out about the odds here at Keeneland.
Yeah.
So the surprising thing to me, Scotty, is the 5 Urban Legend is 6-5. Now that's Irad Ortiz, but I thought Irad only took that huge amount of money over bet in New York. So I guess it's been transferred to Kentucky. But when I look at the board now, this 2 horse at 9-1, Go Captain, who was 9-2 morning line with that speed. If this horse breaks out, I mean, again, the game's about finding value. I didn't really love this horse, but at 9-1, I would give this horse a little bit of a flyer because the horse will be on the front end. If one of the other speeds doesn't get out, at 3-1, I don't want any part of Go Captain. At 9-1, I think that is definitely a playable horse at 9-1.
Which one are you talking about again? I'm
Go
sorry.
Captain. Go Captain. 9-1. Oh, from 9-2 morning.
I'm on the 1 horse.
It's an over.
You're on the 11, but you're thinking the 2 horse could run a good race. All
11
right.
or 12. Yep, and I got the 12 as my backup.
This is a great race, by the way. We talked about the 8 horse as well, running a good race. There seems to be a lot of speed in here. 3's dead on the board. We thought that. I think the 1's going to get a nice trip and save ground. There seems to be some speed between the 2, 3, 5, and 7. I'm going to try to beat the 2 only because even though it's the top pick, it just broke its maiden. Although that horse is really bred for turf. But all right, David. Good luck in this race. Good luck to everybody.
Good luck, everybody.
And here we go. This is the first leg of the
King Julian, the last
qualifier from Keeneland. Here's
goes in. They're at the post.
Yeah, the first leg of the pick 6.
And they're off. Committee of 1 comes out running for the lead. Urban Legend right there. Go Captain kicks into the inside.
Whoa, look at that.
It's also showing early speed, moves up into second position. Then Mr. Mello comes up the rail into 4th. Glacial Power 5th. Committee of 1 settles back into 6th. Bavaria Road 7th. Alamik is in 8th. Pensacola is 9th. 1 lane off the rail into the far turn. Thought That Counts is in 10th position. Surf City 11th.
My horse
King Julian last
checking back.
12, 21.41 seconds. The time for the opening quarter. Go Captain.
I tell you, that
is the leader.
That is supposed to tie by
3
clear
lengths around the far turn.
7-1.
Urban Legend is second by 3. Alcove against the rail is third. 5 from the front. Quarter mile to go. Go Captain to catch. Go Captain leads them off the far turn. The lead is still 3 lengths. Urban Legend second. Alcove third. Glacial Power is in 4th. Mr. Mello 5th toward the inside. Then Committee of 1 6th on the outsiders. Urban Legend. Urban Legend strikes the lead in the final 16th. Urban Legend
right.
lead.
The money was
Go
right.
Captain still there, but second. Then Glacial Power and Committee of 1. Urban Legend. Irad Ortiz Jr.
Closing nicely,
to
but Irad
win it.
gets the horse a perfect ride. 5.
Yeah,
Power rallied up
and I have to
second
tell
on
you,
the
I
line.
thought the horse was overbet, and it looked like this horse needed the lead to win, right, based on its PPs. But it stalked that tremendous. But again, it just looked like a 2-speed number here. So maybe you just want to be close to the lead on these turf sprints.
Yeah, I mean, well, the horse rated nicely. Let the 2 horse go and ran huge, and the 7 horse Glacial Power came on, and the 12 horse finished. But nice call, Ryan. Good call on your 5 horse. Nice job on that. Tony wanted to go over the picks for race number 8 over at Keeneland. Let's do that. Did we have picks? No, I don't think we did. Race number 8. We can. Let's see here.
Yeah, 8 wasn't part of the contest, but
let's run it. Let's run.
Was the 8 part of the contest?
No.
No. Okay, that's why we didn't pick. Okay, yeah. I did play a pick 6 ticket and a pick, so I did handicap the race.
2-horse T-Craft. You're going to have the lead. 13 has some speed from the inside, but not really a great place to be from the outside. And then there's a wall of horses finishing. And it's very interesting because you've got a lot of first-time starters. Look at the 4. The 4 is going to finish, but that horse is going to be the big favorite, Patch Adams. Let's see if we can learn anything from Bruno's workouts. Let's see. Patch Adams works super inside of Uncle Jim. And there's a video. Why don't we watch this? So this is going to most likely be your favorite in the race. And Patch Adams is on the inside of Uncle Jim. And nice looking horse. Wow. I mean, that's a very nice horse. Wow. Look at this horse wants to just go. That's a 59-second drill with not even being asked. Whoa. That's just super impressive. Like, wow. I wish we had more of these, more videos like that.
Yeah. No. This horse could be the real deal, Brad Cox.
Look at that. Like, then he just asks, and then the horse just goes. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, I can understand that, Patrick. Well, I mean, that's just I know it doesn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Like,
yeah,
that's just a super, super nice drill.
All right. With that being said, that Patch Adams does look like a single. The other horse that I wanted to point out was probably the second choice in the morning line.
The one
is the 2. T-Craft. Now,
okay.
Don't overlook T-Craft, because just look at the horses that this horse has been racing against. Who did he lose to on July 27th, which turns out to be a key maiden race? That was Chancer McPatrick. Okay. Who did he lose to the second time he tried a mile going maiden special weight? Filoso, who ran a 3rd in the Champagne. So Chancer, I mean, you got horses that came back in a grade 1.
Oh, you're right. Look at that. Chancer McPatrick. So T-Craft,
and he had the lead
on July 27th, got second to Chancer McPatrick
by a length. Yep.
Lost by a length. And Chancer McPatrick has come back to win the Hopeful grade 1 and the Champagne grade 1. Wow. Okay, so that's super impressive. And the 3rd place horse, that horse didn't come back to really do anything, but let's see, Fiddling. So yeah, that's a tough one to read because the other horses didn't really come back to really do much, but the winner, Chancer McPatrick, was a monster for Chad Brown. Wow. Impressive.
Yeah, and again, it was a fast pace that this horse set on July 27th. But again, September 30th, a bang-up workout at Saratoga on a training track. First of 29 works, 48 and 3. So that's another. I don't think you can leave that horse out. But again, if Patch Adams, it could be the real deal. It looks very impressive with the workouts. It's just, I don't think I wouldn't single. I would also include the 2 T-Craft.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's for sure. I still am going to play against this horse personally. I think the horse needs an easy lead. There seems to be some really talented first-time starters here, and I don't even know that the 2 horses necessarily gonna clear and win this race. So and that, although in that one race, yes, but I looked at some other races in the past races and they were just okay. Source is 8-1 on the EE morning line. Brad Cox, Florent Giroux on this horse. I mean, that was just such an impressive workout for Patch Adams that I'm not.
Agreed.
That was just so impressive. Let's look and see if we can see how this race might play out. It looks like the 8-horse Bob Moe might have some speed, but the horse just stopped last time out. I don't think we can. And the 13 is going to possibly be wide. The 13 is interesting though, because for Brian Lynch, this horse broke bad in its first start from the rail. What do you make of this 13 horse? Ain't No Disco. I'm looking
Ain't
right
no
now.
disco. This ain't no disco.
Ain't No Disco. The race simulator has the horse running actually winning the race.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, draws in. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would be, you might get a price on this horse, and that would be actually a big win if that horse did actually win that race.
Yeah, outside post, and I have to tell you, looking at Scotty, the conclusion that I came up with, you don't really want to be that wide going on the dirt course. It seems like courses that the last couple of days who are making these wide moves look like they're going to blow right past everybody, and it's like 3 or 4 races they kind of bog down. So I don't know if it's the horses. I think it's more the track. I think you want to be middle of the track towards the inside. That's just the opinion that I came up with. I'm not sure that's correct or not, but
okay. Let's look at the EquinEdge second pick and look at the workout for Bruno.
okay.
Nick's Glory is in front. So Nick's Glory is in the front. I'm sure that was planned for whatever reason.
Well, Nick's Glory, yep. Again, this horse could add to the pace, breaking from the rail.
Well, you can clearly see this is very. Look at the turn of foot for this horse. This is a very fast horse. The elbows for the exercise rider are in. So I just think this is a speedster. I think this is a very fast horse. Sometimes in these maiden races, you know how it goes, David. I mean, that horse gets the lead. And although the simulator doesn't have this horse having the lead, first-time starters is not an exact science. That horse could get away.
Oh, yeah. From the rail, I think we know one thing. From the rail with a first-time starter, that's his option. This horse doesn't look like he would be a closer based on those workouts. So his only chance is really to gun from the rail and take a lead. And again, sometimes horses get so fast, then he gets lead over the 2 or the 4, and he bottoms out the field, goes so fast that he keeps going, and the closers, the two speed horses chasing him start tiring, and the closers are too far behind, and the horse goes wire to wire. I'd be interested to see. Well, this horse has some ability, could have some ability to win Nick's Glory. I wonder, is that a half to Nick's Go?
Let's see here. So I'm not sure, but the mare wasn't much. 9 races, $126,000. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but she wasn't much. Pat Chatham's mare wasn't much. And sometimes there's something to be learned from these. If you look at the 13 horse Ain't No Disco, she wasn't much. Yep. Who else is a strong contender in here? If you look at the EE morning line, I mean, it looks pretty wide open. 1,000 Degrees, the 3 horse. The mare was not much. Let's look at this workout here. What does Bruno say? Good. Degrees was under a big hold. Okay, well, let's take a look at that. So here's another first-time starter. And
the answer to my question is Nick's Go is out of Painter.
Out of Painter?
And the broodmare is out Flanker. So no brother, no family history.
All right. So this horse, you can see what Bruno said is the outside horse is 1,000 Degrees and under a big hold. And what I try to do is see how fast the time was and how much of a hold. And the fact that they went 48 seconds is, I mean, that's a pretty nice time when you're not even being asked. Right?
No, I agree. Patrick just pointed out that the 12 Camp Hale for Ian Wilkes has been training well, and it looks pretty good, pretty steady workouts. Motown, first-time starter, but the outside post does concern me. What's Ian Wilkes? I'm going to look up Ian. What's he? He's not really known for first-time starters.
Camp Hale, let's see. He is 4% with first-time starters. Yeah, the workouts have been really good. Camp Hale with Brian Hernandez aboard. So Brian Hernandez is aboard the horse as well. And they went for 5 furlongs anyways. The official time was 1 minute and 2/5 seconds.
If you look at it, how does Camp Hale win the race with the inside speeds, right? We figure the 2, the 1, and probably the 4 is going to be real close to the pace. The 12 could add. Is he going to try to be a closer from that outside post? I don't know. It's probably, again, it's a horse with a 4% first time trainer. I'd probably give a
I don't think that's where. I mean, watching this horse run, I mean, it looks okay. I mean, nothing for me. Like our aha moment was watching Patch Adams run. Right, that's what we saw. But listen, there's so many horses in this race that 12 horses in this race that I think that if Patch Adams even hiccups wrong, then it could lose the race. But I think probably this horse is looking really good. It was very impressive. I mean, for me, in the videos that we watched, it was all about the 4 horse. The 1 horse is interesting from the perspective. It didn't look as good as the 4, but it looks like it might be fast early. It certainly looked like a fast horse, but wow. Yeah, Tony, you gave us a really tough race. Yeah.
And again, with these maiden special weight races, 2-year-olds with a lot of first-time starters, this is normally a race I would just pass. It just happens to be in the pick 5 and pick 6 sequence, so I was forced to make a play in that. But this is not a race I would play for straight.
Yeah,
I will. And races like this, I will watch and take trip notes. And, for moving forward next time, because a lot of these, you'll see some of these 2-year-olds getting in trouble. They're learning the game. The first time starters take 2 or 3 races, and you might pick up something where a horse is making a late move or just getting an education. And it's like, oh, nobody saw this. This horse finished 9th twice in a row, and then he's stretching out. It's like, I thought this horse had some ability based on what I saw.
They are nice workouts, though, from Bruno. I will say that. You have he's got videos on this horse, 3 races, and has 4, 5 workouts that are 3 stars. So,
right.
I mean, clearly, but that's not a great post to be at, for sure. But I don't think you can ignore the 12 as well. But look at the projected trip for the 12. Like the 13's faster. The 11 might be faster. And so it could be in between horses early, not really a great place to be. 6-1 though. How about the 12 horse being 6-1 on the EE morning line?
The 6 horse. Let me just take a quick look in my notes.
I'm sorry. The 12 horse. I apologize. The 12.
12 horse. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
6-1 on the on the EE morning line. So that's pretty impressive. But I just have a feeling this Patch Adams is a different animal in here. And it seems to be, based on the workout that we saw, the video we saw, that horse looks tremendous. We should look at one more horse, the 8 horse, but this horse stopped last time out. I was kind of surprised to see this 8 horse. Usually when you run such a bad race like that, usually you're going to see the win percentages not be very good on a horse. And I'm surprised to see this horse is still 15% to win. Anything about this horse? Maybe it's just because look at this. I've never seen this before. So
what's up?
The trainer is 23% with first-time starters, which is sick, right? Like you don't see many trainers with 23% win percentage with first-time starters. You ready for this? Look at the second-time starter win percentage for this trainer. 37%. Rohan Crichton.
I would assume, Scotty, that's primarily at Gulfstream, right? So now you're dealing with Keeneland. But again, that first out was at Churchill Downs in a maiden special, 12-horse field. He had the 12 post, and he was bet down at 3-1. That tells you. I have to tell you, this race, my prediction is you are going to see some talented 3-year-old horses going forward into next year. There's some horses that look to have ability here, right?
They sure do.
And I would say this, look back on this race, and I'm going to make a copy of this, the entries in this race. I'm going to say you may have a couple of Derby starters, and you may have the Derby winner coming out of this race. How about that?
Don't go getting ahead of yourself. First of all, look, the GSRs.
I know.
They're barely in the 70s. Like
Yeah.
Kentucky Derby contenders they're in the 80s and 90s. Nah.
Well, Scotty, it's their first point of racing. So
no,
I'm saying
I know.
you're old.
To say that this race is wide open. I don't think I really don't think there's any world beaters in here. But Patch Adams certainly looked pretty freaking good in that workout. But you know, I don't think there's anything great in here. I really don't. But
Okay. So I'm going to predict that Nick's Glory is going to win the Kentucky Derby wire to wire next year. Okay. You know, if anybody, if it does happen, hopefully somebody will record this, and there you go. There'll be my glory.
Yeah, I'm going to take a picture of this race. Well, listen, that was a really good time. Thanks everybody that contributed in the chat too. We appreciate it. Tomorrow, David, the boys, I can't wait to be watching. Chris and Oldie and Justin are going to be doing the show all day long. Every race at Keeneland tomorrow, they're going to have full coverage over there in the heart of Keeneland. So can't wait for that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. I will be listening in and out tomorrow, and with my plays, and trying to earn a last-minute entry into that the Keeneland Fall Challenge. And Scotty, I'm sure you will have at least 1 or 2 or 3 entries in that. Am I assuming that is correct?
I'm going to have a couple of entries into that tournament. Yes, I'm going to be playing in that.
I kind of figured.
Yep. I got to give it a go. I love Keeneland, and look at the energy too. I feel so much better about. It's not that I didn't love Keeneland. I've been to Keeneland a few times. It's beautiful, but Jim Goodman opening up the simulcast for us and race replays and all that stuff. It just it makes you feel better. You want people that are not soured. They're supporting. And I'll give you an example of this. And that was a lot of times we look at jockeys and trainers like objects. Correct? Would you agree with that? It's not even. This is not a human. This is an 8% trainer, or this is a 10% jockey. Correct?
I almost equate it to like chess pieces on a board, right?
Yeah.
Players,
but then we had Katie Davis on the show, and she was just outstanding. And all of a sudden, it's like, here's our friend Katie. Come on, Katie. She's aboard. Yeah. Katie's not an object anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just what's so freaking great. And that's we want more of that, And,
and talk about and Jim Goodman, and talk about Jim. He also, besides doing a great job at Keeneland, also with the contest every year, it's fantastic. He's a great orator. Great public speaker, because he gives some good, funny speeches at not the Eclipse Award, the awards dinner at the NHC. So that's another reason to try to make it to the NHC. It's worth the trip just to listen to Jim Goodman come on Sunday night, right? He's funny as hell. He's a really good, good public speaker. So kudos, Jim. Yeah,
kudos. So all right, you guys. Best of luck today. If you're playing in the NHC qualifier, wish you all the best, David. As usual, I love hanging out with you for all this time. Appreciate all your time and all the work you do as well to give everybody winners. I know how hard you work.
All right, thank you, brother. And listen, have everybody. Thanks for listening in, Jeff. Thanks for the compliments, and great guys. Hit them hard this weekend, and we'll see you next week.
All right,
the horse be with you.
Yeah, but the horse be with you, and don't forget to tune in to the stretch run tomorrow live.
Yes, definitely.
We'll see you later.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.